Good evening and welcome to Labatt Memorial Park here in London, Ontario, Canada, where we're getting set for some London Majors baseball. I'm your host, Justin Koehler with MajorsTV, and we're incredibly excited to have you here at the ballpark with us. Today, it should be a good matchup with the Majors looking for their 17th game today as they welcome in the visiting Guelph Royals to town. The two teams are actually pretty close, all things considered, with the Majors currently sitting in second, tied with the Cardinals, and the Guelph Royals sitting just a couple spots below them in fourth place. And the teams, this will be their second game of the season, with the first game way back in the season getting rained out. So their first actual game was just last weekend where the two teams met, and what it ended up being a real pitcher's duel between the two teams. And Travis Keys in particular did a spectacular job, pitched a complete game, 9 strikeouts, and gave up just 1 run. But that 1 run ended up being enough for the Royals, who shut out the Majors 1-0. And so the Majors are looking for a bit of redemption, bit of revenge, and looking to settle the score in today's game, and they will get that chance coming up. And so, without any further ado, let's send it up to Ty and Dylan in the Game Day London press box. And gentlemen, looks like it should be a pretty good contest today.
It absolutely does, Justin. Welcome inside the Game Day London broadcast booth for the BP8 Fitness pregame show. Dylan Baker and Ty White with you. Ty, Majors coming off 3 big wins over the last week against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers and looking to build off of it here tonight.
Yeah, coming in red hot tonight on a 2-game win streak currently, Dylan, and in their last game, a 4-3 victory over Chatham-Kent. What I liked in that game, especially from this Majors team, 7 different players recording a hit in that one, including 2 star performances from, pun intended, Starling Joseph with 2 hits and 2 RBIs to his name, as well as a 3-hit performance from Gibson Kresminski. So they have a lot of offense building into this game tonight.
The Majors are looking for a more consistent stroke at the plate because they're obviously doing well to start the year, sitting at 11-5, but they could be even better if the offense finds their game night in and night out.
Yeah, and Roop Chanderdat really discussed the importance of consistency and how that really makes the top teams in the Intercounty Baseball League. The Majors still have to prove that, but they've done a good job going forward, especially in their last 5 games. 3-2 in their last 5, posting a 6-3 record at home. That's good for second in the IBL behind the Welland Jackfish. And on the flip side, the Guelph Royals enter this game tonight 5-2 on the road. So one of the best road teams versus one of the best home teams, and one of them must fall tonight.
It's going to be a pretty big challenge for Roop Chanderdat's squad. Prior to today's game, Justin had a chance to sit down with Roop in this evening's Roop's Report.
So I'm here with co-owner and GM Roop Chanderdat. Roop, I already know what the answer is going to kind of be, but how's your day going so far?
You know, great. We're at Labatt Park playing baseball. It's a fantastic day.
Always great. So right off the bat, looking at the league leaders in the IBL, the Majors actually have a couple of the top guys, 2 of the top 5 when it comes to limiting earned runs, and that's Keys and today's starter, Victor Payano, both sitting with a sub-3 ERA on the season. From a managerial perspective, what have you been seeing that's kind of been contributing to that success of the pitching team so far?
First and foremost, the work. They put in the work. You know, they're guys that take their craft seriously. You know, off days, they go through their throwing. So they've done a great job. Coach Wales has done a great job with them. So, and then secondly, they keep everyone off balance. You know, they depend on all their pitches. And when you have all your pitches going, you can keep the other team off balance, you're going to have success. So I think those are the factors that's led to some of their success so far.
Great points. At the end of the day, you don't want the batter to really know what's coming at all. There's sometimes where even up in the press box, we can slightly predict pitches from some opposing pitchers. So anything even we can do to be a bit off balance is a good sign from the pitching staff. Next question for you. Of course, we all know it by now, but the All-Star Showdown is coming up along the way. And we just got some of the numbers, and it shows that a few of the majors are leading in some of the categories, including Keys, Diolio, and Joseph. How does it feel to have so many potential All-Stars on the roster this season?
You know, when you're having a good season, so far we are, you're going to have guys that are having, you know, good numbers that deserve to be in the All-Star game. So you know what? We thank our fans for voting and continue to keep voting. You know, the fans want to see their players, their favorite players. So you vote in your favorite players. So we've got a lot of favorite players here that are having great seasons also. So we encourage our fans to keep voting for, you know, London Majors, and hopefully we have a few players in the All-Star game.
Or you took the words right out of my mouth, so I love to see that. And last question for you. The team is playing the Guelph Royals today. They're the #1 team in the league for run prevention in particular. What are you hoping to see out of today's matchup?
You know what? When you play Guelph, you got to play a clean game. They're a good offensive team, good pitching. So they're a top team for a reason. So you have to play a clean game. So we're just looking to, you know, get runners on, move them around, and obviously get good pitching and defense. We need to have all 3 things going to beat a good Guelph Royal team.
Perfect, and also to be a championship team as well in general, too. So thank you so much. Best of luck in today's game, and let's send it up to Ty and Dylan in the Game Day London press box to continue with the rest of the pregame show.
Justin and Roop, thank you. With that, we're going to take a quick break. This has been the BP8 Fitness pregame show, functional strength training for everybody.
London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.com.
The best of the Intercounty Baseball League descend on the Rose City on July 20th as the 2023 Dominico Cup champion Welland Jackfish and Welland Stadium host the 2024 Intercounty Baseball League All-Star Showdown and Home Run Derby. For ticket information, visit wellandjackfish.com/all-star or call 905-735-9834. Welland Jackfish Baseball. Fans first, fun always. Get hooked.
Throw London is on point. With an atmosphere that's a cut above, Throw London brings together the best in knife throwing, axe throwing, and darts. So it's the perfect spot for a date night, night out with friends, leagues, and team building for the office. You've got to be 13 or older to throw pointy objects and 19 plus to enjoy their fully licensed offerings. It's the best spot in London for some fun with an edge. London's original knife throwing. Check them out at 2190 Dundas Street East and online at ithrow.ca. That's ITHROW.ca.
Back now at Labatt Memorial Park. We heard the Roops report before the break, and Ty, it's going to be a challenge for Roops squad tonight against a Guelph team that'll come out hungry after a tough loss against Kitchener on Sunday.
Uncharactered loss, 6-3 defeat from Kitchener. And Dylan, that was really the second straight performance in a string of a bit of a bad offense coming off a 15-run game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, only combining for 8 hits over their last 2 between Kitchener and London. But they certainly do have the ability to have huge games, combining for monumental scores this year like 27, 15, and 6. They have 2 players like to call the Bash brothers between Josh Garton and J.D. Williams, combining for nearly 40 RBIs on the season already. They have 8 players on the lineup hitting above 300, so they can definitely get back to the prolific ways on the in the pitcher's box, or the batter's box, I should say, this evening.
Victor Payano will have his hands full. Let's take a look at the starting pitching matchup brought to you by Throw London, London's original knife throwing. Payano gets the ball today for the London Majors, 1-1 on the year, Ty.
Victor Payano becoming much more of a consistent starter, and that's exactly what Roop Chanardant, Brent Wales, and this Majors side need, especially behind Arias and as well Travis Keys. They need that really third, very strong ace, and he started 2 games, a 10-0 win against Chatham-Kent and a 7-5 victory at home versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, so he's getting a lot more time out on the rubber, and that's exactly what the Majors need him to do.
On the other side, it is the big Reese Montgomery to kick off what we expect to be a bullpen game.
Yeah, big. It's quite an understatement, Dylan. Mississauga native, standing 6'5", 240 pounds on the mound, plays for the University of Guelph as well. Primarily a reliever for the Royals, as you mentioned. We expect it to be a bullpen game. Not a conventional starter, but in his 6 appearances, he has had over 11 innings pitched, allowing only 3 runs against, a 2.38 ERA, and 12 strikeouts. So definitely a respectable arm and someone who can get the job done tonight.
So leading off for the Guelph Royals is Brando LaRue, and we'll get to their lineup shortly. LaRue is the shortstop in today's game for Guelph. On the season, he's batting .325 across 10 games. He'll have to deal with Payano coming off a 9-strikeout performance against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers on Sunday. The lefty is set out there on the mound, kicks and delivers the first pitch of the ball game. LaRue sends this one to left field. Starling Joseph a couple of steps to his left. He hauls it in for the first out. And with that, let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Guelph Royals.
Yeah, Guelph, as you mentioned, Brandon LaRue up and flew out immediately. Connor Morrow in there batting second, and third is Andy Leader, followed and cleaned up by Josh Garton. J.D. Williams, Mark Nellis, Keon Moseni, Joseph Del Rosario, and rounding things up, Ryosuke Ohashi.
So that is the lineup that will play behind Reese Montgomery in today's game. Connor Morrow into the batter's box, the longtime IBL player. First pitch from Payano in there for a strike.
And as you can see right off the bat with that booming hit from Brandon LaRue, although it was directly in the direction of Starling Joseph out there in left field, you can see they're anxious at the plate already. First pitch, swing immediately. So I anticipate that a lot more ambitious nature at the plate will continue throughout the course of this one, and I don't think it's going to be a 1-0 final tonight, Dylan.
We may see a little bit more offense, that's for sure, as that one's fouled off by Morrow. Morrow, former Barrie Baycat, won the championship with the Baycats in 2019. Came over to the Guelph Royals upon their return to the league after their year off in 2021. Payano ahead 0-2. Here's the pitch. On the ground towards second base. Gibson Krasminski goes to his left. Throw to Cardoso at first is in time, and very quickly Victor Payano has 2 out.
Great start here for the Majors defensively and for Victor Payano. Throwing good pitches, relying on that fastball. And it forced 2 premature swings from both LaRue and Morrow. Didn't quite catch it exactly where they wanted to, and that's forced 2 quick outs for the Majors through the first, keeping that pitch count down. I'm sure the Majors bullpen will be very pleased with that.
So Andy Leader into the batter's box now. First pitch to him is in there for a strike. Leader, former Kitchener Panther. Number of times he was an IBL All-Star. Was acquired in a trade by the Guelph Royals just last week. Here's the 0-1 home. Breaking ball from Payano in there for a strike, and he's ahead 0-2.
Nice breaking ball looming a little bit outside, down and away. And he's gotten that placement correct early on.
0-2 count with 2 out as Payano continues to make quick work of the Royals, trying to set them down in order. Here's the pitch. That one misses high for ball 1. Worth mentioning the umpires for today's game. Justin Snively topping is the home plate umpire. Over at first base, it's Isaac Zipchuk. And at third, it's Bob Blake. 1-2 count. The pitch from Payano. Called strike 3. Victor Payano sets the Royals down 1-2-3 in the top of the first, and the Majors head to the bats without allowing a run.
Well, that was rather perfect there from the London side. Fantastic job defensively. The outfield didn't have to do too much work except for that ball hit towards Krasminski. Got it over Cardoso for the easy out, but really good pitchers. I really like the control from Victor Payano early on. And as we mentioned, Dylan, he's still contending to be an ace on this Majors lineup. Has currently a 2.63 ERA. That's good for top 5 in all the Intercounty Baseball League. A 1.50 whip, 31, now 32 strikeouts on the year. And he's doing a really good job early on. We'll have to continue that. And it's going to be a little bit hard, I think, for Reese Montgomery to match that immediately.
Let's take a look at the lineup that Reese Montgomery is going to have to face in today's ball game for the London Majors. It starts off somewhat differently than what we're used to, with Ty Mosher leading things off.
Certainly a little different around the board here. Ty Mosher, as you mentioned, leads things off, followed by Gibson Krasminski, Starling Joseph. In cleanup today is Eduardo DeOlio, still top 5 for home runs in the IBL, followed by Byron Reichstein, Victor Plaz, Caden Cardoso, actually 7th today, so towards the back of the order. Then followed by Cleve Brownlee, who's DHing today, and Drew Lawrence in center field.
A lot of the similar names that we're used to seeing throughout the season, just in different spots. And the one that sticks out is Cardoso, batting 7th, still riding his hitting streak at 16 games up to this point this year. But Majors manager Roop Chanadat trying to ignite just another little spark into his offense.
100%, and I think it's a very good thing, actually, that Roop's moving it around, getting him comfortable, batting all over the order, and certainly, as you mentioned, 16-game hit streak. He can definitely live up to that. One of the contenders for Rookie of the Year already in the IBL, and he's had a fantastic season, really prolific at the plate, and we'll look to add on to that tonight, and I'm sure the Majors have that even extra firepower added towards them, considering they only had 3 hits and no runs in their last outing against the Royals only 2 games ago.
So Ty Mosher will lead things off for the London Majors in today's ball game. Mosher in 10 games this season, batting .368, has 4 walks as well. So a good candidate in the leadoff spot, a guy who gets on base a fair amount. He's also been successful against left-handed pitching this year, Ty.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason he's sitting near the top of the order. 3 for 5 this year in a small sample size against lefties as that one finds the zone.
The Majors have a lot of great players like that. Not necessarily the go-to guys, the top of the order at the mound, but they have fantastic players like Ty Mosher, Krasminski, and Reichstein.
Flare towards second base, might have broken his bat. Ryosuke Ohashi makes the catch, and there's one gone.
It was a nice pitch there early on. Obviously, Reese Montgomery has the speed behind those hurls towards the plate. standing at 6'5", a huge frame, and a southpaw that can deliver the heat. So they definitely have their hands full tonight, although it is rather a bullpen game here for the Royals. They don't have the night off. The Majors really have to stay strong offensively, and Mosher got the bad end of that first exchange.
So Gibson Krasminski into the batter's box, a guy that you mentioned, Ty, off the top of the show because he had a very successful game against Chatham-Kent on Tuesday.
He did. He had 3 hits in that performance. As I mentioned, 7 majors total. Able to get on the board in the hit column in that one. So they're coming in rather hot. Haven't had a 2-game win streak in a little while. So improving here to 3, especially against a team directly behind you in the standings, would be very much needed.
Krasminski sends this one in the air, shallow right field. Charging in is Leader, and he's got it for the second out.
Another good pitch. That one was swung on a fastball. Didn't get the best contact on that one. Krasminski just poked it out to the right field area, and it did create, though, a little bit of a farther of a run for Ohashi, and at the end of the day, Leader was able to come in and made the play.
So Starling Joseph into the batter's box here for the Majors. Joseph in left field today. He hit a long ball on Sunday against the Barnstormers, one that was hit a very, very long ways for only his second home run of the year.
And also he still sits in the top 5 in RBIs across the IBL, sitting at 17 on the year currently. Definitely one of the stronger players, and it was nice that he was able to hit the long ball. We discussed, Dylan, that was really the only thing he was missing from his offensive game this year. We talked about that in previous broadcasts, but he's really picked things up, and he can do just about anything on that plate.
1-1 count here from Reese Montgomery. Into the windup, here's the pitch. Breaking ball finds the zone for strike 2.
And that was a great pitch. We can see the dynamic pitching of Reese Montgomery. Has a really good fastball, but that was a strong breaking ball. Bit low and away and had perfect placement on it.
Into the windup, here comes the 1-2 pitch to Joseph in the dirt for ball 2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Montgomery trying to make quick work of the Majors just as Payano did of the Royals. The lefty into the windup, here's the pitch. Inside to Joseph, and the count runs full now at 3-2.
It's a good at-bat here for Starling Joseph, trying to raise the pitch count of Reese Montgomery. He's giving him a tough time at the plate. Hasn't taken a big hack at one yet, though, waiting for his pitch.
The 3-2 pitch. Joseph scorches it to third, and it's hauled in by Keon Maseni to end the first inning. So both pitchers with a successful first frame as we head to break. No score between the Majors and the Royals.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's The Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide to you to help you with your recreation needs.
Back here at Labatt Park for the second frame. It's a little overcast right now, but these two still have their sunglasses out, Ty, trying to keep away the rays for this ball game.
Definitely. Not the sunniest Friday night here in downtown London at the Forks of the Thames, but nonetheless, it's been really good weather. The weather's been beautiful lately, Dylan. A little bit humid, but it's definitely chilled down from those days a couple of weeks ago, 35 degrees and
yeah.
such. So
thank goodness, yeah.
A little bit cooler here. We don't need the fan tonight up here in the broadcast booth, but a pleasant night for baseball.
Now, Ty, did you ever own a pair of Pit Vipers? Because I think those are the sunglasses those kids were wearing.
They definitely were wearing the Pit Vipers. Kid in the Michigan sweater there. Go blue. I can't say personally that I have owned a pair, but they definitely look, I'd say, better on those kids than they would on me.
I think every kid who's ever owned a pair of Pit Vipers has worn them all the time. There has not been an exception to Pit Viper wearing for a kid that age, especially.
There's no Ray-Bans in the rotation. They strictly stick to the Pit Vipers, and I think it looked really good on them. Definitely the choice of attire for baseball players, I'd say.
It definitely is, especially recently. Back to baseball now. Victor Payano getting set here for the top of the second inning. After a 1-2-3 first, he made quick work of the Royals, only throwing 8 pitches in the first frame.
I gotta say, Dylan, look at Josh Garton here stepping into the batter's box.
He's a guy who would wear Pit Vipers tie. Let me tell you.
With the blonde, a bit of a mullet going on, but he's absolutely jacked. He's a very strong player, one of the best players on this Royals team. Has pro experience with the Cincinnati Reds organization. 7 home runs for him, second in the IBL in both home runs and in RBIs. He has 20 to his name, and I think you could see why.
Garton, one of the best hitters in the Intercounty Baseball League, takes that one inside. It is 1 ball and 1 strike.
I also have to say the mustache is immaculate.
Garton also rocking a green bat in this ball game. 1-1 count to him. Here's the pitch from Payano. Breaking ball. Garton sends this one on the ground. Krasminski goes to his right. On the run throw to first. Cardoso looks to dig it out, but it's not in time. Josh Garton showing off the speed, beating that one out, and the Royals have the first base runner of this ball game.
Well, you could hear the way that hit off of Garton's bat. He didn't get the contact that he necessarily wanted, but it just had enough that it wasn't necessarily the fastest ball towards Gibson Krasminski, and he couldn't make the play in the end. Wasn't quick enough to beat out Josh Garton, and he gets a single, the first player to reach base today.
So Garton stands over at first base with nobody out, and J.D. Williams will step into the batter's box. Now, these are the 2 guys that you wanted to highlight in the BP8 Fitness pregame show, Ty, as really the 2 best hitters on this Royals roster.
Indeed, the Bash brothers going right after each other. Garton obviously in cleanup, and then Williams in 5th today. He has 5 home runs in the year, 4th in the IBL, as well as 19 RBIs, which is good for second. Very strong player. Another player who came out of the Cincinnati Reds organization. And I talked to you about this a little bit before the game, Dylan. Researching this Guelph Royals lineup, I'd argue that among any team in the Intercounty Baseball League, they perhaps have the most pro experience from teams across, obviously, minor leagues in the United States as well as the Frontier League and a lot of D1 athletes. So they definitely have an extremely capable roster on this team.
Very experienced group for the Royals. Williams trying to stay alive here against Victor Payano, who's ahead in the count 0-2. The lefty peeks over at Garton at first. Here's the delivery. Line straight back of the backstop by Williams, and so we'll try again on 0-2.
And Payano really has his hands full tonight, especially with a lineup that has shown us can hit 27 runs in a single game, upwards of 15 and 16. They usually play around between that 6 and 9 mark total. So they've been struggling in the last few games. They're due for a big performance, and Payano has to really keep things straight.
The 0-2 running is Garton. It's a breaking ball. Here's the throw from Deolio. The tag from Mosher, and it's not in time. Excuse me, that was Krasminski applying the tag over at second base. Regardless, Josh Garton swipes the bag.
That was perhaps the most aesthetically pleasing stolen base I've ever seen in my life, Dylan. The way he ran over there like Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie, had the arms pumping, and he was able to just beat out the throw from Eduardo Deolio to get into second base, and he's in favorable position with no outs.
Good pitch to run on as well. It was a slow curveball from Payano. So Garton in scoring position for Williams here. The kick and the come home from the lefty. Hit hard on the ground towards shortstop. Mosher's going to go to third. Here's the tag from Plaz, and it's in time to get Garton. A heads-up play from Ty Mosher and Victor Plaz, and there's one gone.
I really like that decision there because he had the choice, Dylan. He had the choice to either go to first and make a very clear throw across or make that turn to his right and throw it over to Victor Plaz for the out at third. And I really agree with the decision to throw out Garton there. It was on time. The play wasn't too uncomfortable to him to make in the end. And he puts a player out of scoring position off a team that can hit extremely well. So I like that decision in the end. Very clean turnover by Ty Mosher.
First pitch to Mark Nellis will miss for ball 1. Heads up play by Mosher there. As you mentioned, Ty takes the runner out of scoring position, which is probably the biggest factor in the decision making of that play. Williams stands over at first with 1 out. Payano will give him a quick look and a throw over. He's back standing up. Nellis, a junior player for the Guelph Royals, has played in 12 games, hitting .325 on the season. 2 runs batted in, 5 walks. Payano will throw over again to check on Williams. So now he's used 2 of his disengagements. He's only got 1 left, and he's only thrown 1 pitch here to Nellis.
He's got to be careful, and early in the game, especially after getting that out at third, he's got to be a little careful. I think he's got to get some stuff over the plate now, Dill.
1-0 count. We'll see if Williams is running. Slide step from Payano. Not moving was Williams, as that one's fouled back by Nellis. 1-1.
He's really got that fastball going for him right now. Nothing out of control. Everything seems to be pretty technical on behalf of Payano. Getting the pitches he wants. And I've seen a fairly good start from him so far, I'd say.
1-1 count. Williams the lead off of first. That one hit in the air to right field. Reichstein initially broke back. Now takes a couple of steps in, and he's got it for the second out.
Another fantastic sling there from Payano. That was a fastball high and inside. Jammed Nellis a little bit. Didn't get a favorable position for him to take a hard swing at it. Regardless of the bat speed there, it'd be a tough way to swing that bat anyway with that ball so high and inside. And he just chops one out directly to Byron Reichstein, and an easy out in the end for the Majors.
So 2 out. Williams still stands over at first for Keon Maseni. Pitch from Payano is upstairs to Maseni for ball 1.
Maseni played college ball at Antelope Valley in the States. Few players in the IBL played there, including Caden Cardoso, I believe.
Correct, Ty. I was wondering if you'd hit on that point.
There we go. Also attended the University of Central Arkansas for JUCO down there. So one of a plethora of players on this Guelph team with college ball experience in the States.
1-1 count here to Maseni. Pitch from Payano. In there for a strike. Williams, a bit of a delayed steal. Nobody was there. Now the throw goes into center field. A hard turn from Williams. He will stay put at second base. So a delayed steal catches the Majors defense off guard, and Williams put himself in a scoring position with 2 out.
Yeah, that's just baseball IQ and awareness there, Dylan. He saw that Ty Mosher was way too far off the bag to get there in time if he had made the run over to second, but there was just plenty of time for J.D. Williams to make that run. Was well safe in the end, and the ball got by Mosher. He potentially even considered going to third, but looks like that slide might have roughed him up just a little bit, Dylan.
Yeah, it looks like Dino Rumel, the Guelph Royals manager, and Lacey Scott, the athletic therapist, going out there to check on J.D. Williams. Seems to just be uncomfortable right now after he slid into second base safely for the stolen bag.
Standing on his own, stretching out. I don't think it's anything too serious, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he maybe got jammed on that slide. He's given a thumbs up and looks like he wants to stay in this ball game, but certainly shaken up.
Yes.
So Dino Rumel signals he's all good. Lacey Scott, a couple more words here for Williams. Pointing at his knee, holding his hip. She's going to ask to see him run just a little bit. And so he's all clear to stay in the ball game. 1-2, 2 out. J.D. Williams stands in scoring position now after the steal at second base.
Two outs here, a bunch of different scenarios to record this third and final one for Payano. Just needs to stay calm, get that fastball. Think high and inside where he'll be looking.
1-2, fastball, high and inside, fouled straight back at the screen. Ty, what do you got for the next pitch?
You know what? I'm going to go. I think it's going to be another fastball. I'm expecting more of the same. I was very impressed with myself in the last one. I'm happy I called that one right. And just looks like a good position. And like I mentioned before, I'm really impressed with Payano this evening. Has his stuff very under control and is showing to be more of a reliable arm as the season progresses.
1-2. Looked like a bit of a breaking ball there. Misses low and inside. 2-2.
Nice pitch there. I don't mind the change to go with a breaking ball. Inside again. And obviously he's just trying to jam Maseni here a little bit. Get him to swing at an unfavorable pitch. But catching him to be a little bit keen at the plate.
2-2. Mosseni skies this one foul territory. Victor Plaz will give it a look, but it's out of play.
Wasn't perhaps the best pitch to swing on, but just trying to keep himself alive here, and obviously Payano knows that. So he's not giving him anything favorable, but showing him just enough to get him to take a hack at one in the end and trying to make it work to record this third out.
So 2-2, 2 out. Williams stands in scoring position at second base. Here's the pitch from Payano. Misses just barely, and it's 3-2.
You can tell by his reaction and by some of the size here around Labatt Memorial Park that a lot of people thought that might have caught the outside corner, but I think the umpire's done a good job, called a clean game so far, and outside for a ball, full count.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Here's the pitch from Payano. In the air to Victor Plaz at third base, and he will make the catch to retire the side. So Payano had to work a little bit harder in that inning, threw 19 pitches, but gets out of it nonetheless.
And a good job from him, especially facing a tough part of the order here for the Royals. Went up against Garton, of course, leading things off, and then J.D. Williams, who both were able to get on base and had a stolen base to both their names. So they've done a good job so far in this game, but obviously we saw the crucial play, the important play by Ty Mosher to make the throw over to third to record Josh Garton out and take him out of scoring position. Made things more favorable for the Majors, and they're able to keep scoreless for the first 2.
Yeah, good job by the Majors defense. Some heads-up baseball from Mosher and Plaz getting the out over at third base of Garton, and that certainly saved a run in the inning, you'd think, Ty, with the way that the Royals were running the bases.
Definitely. Very ambitious. I like that off the mound. Obviously, it was more of a clear-cut decision that Josh Garton was going to go regardless, but J.D. Williams playing heads-up baseball as well. Saw that Mosher was just way too far off the bag, and he decided to make the play in the end. Hurt himself a little bit in the process, but I like that play by the Royals, especially considering that they've only had 8 hits in their last 2 games. So trying to turn the tide a little bit and earn some runs here.
Royals certainly no strangers to being aggressive on the base paths. They've been an aggressive team ever since Dino Rumel took over the ball club in the 2022 season. And a good first inning as we pivot to the pitchers on the mound for Reese Montgomery. Just 10 pitches in the first, similar to what Payano did.
Yes, very similar to Payano, and I like that, both these pitchers have a pretty booming fastball, and nothing wild thus far in this game. Really under control, as we can see, obviously not the best on the breaking ball, Montgomery historically, but he's gotten that down pretty pat so far tonight. I really like the fastball, and obviously the southpaw on the mound is a difficult matchup for anyone coming up, but in steps one of the best home run hitters so far in 2024, Eduardo De Olio.
4, 5, and 6 here for the Majors in the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Eduardo De Olio, Byron Reichstein, and Victor Plaz. De Olio struggling in terms of batting average on the year, at least compared to what he's used to, only hitting .250, but you mentioned it, Ty, 4 home runs on the year. Still right near the top of the Intercounty Baseball League.
Yeah, he's quite the opposite compared to some of the other big hitters on this Majors lineup in the sense that he has been hitting the long ball, but struggling with average.
Popped up into foul territory. Long run for Josh Garton, but he makes the catch, calling off his catcher, Joseph Del Rosario. And there's one gone in the bottom of the second.
Threatening there from De Olio, watching Garton just bomb down his way. Big man Garton. Very, very agile, though, for his size. Very strong player, and as we saw, too, he had that stolen base earlier, so an extremely athletic man playing first base for the Royals tonight.
Talking with Isaac Zipchuk, the first base umpire right now, as Byron Reichstein strolls into the batter's box. First pitch for Montgomery will miss for ball 1. Reichstein batting .303 on the season. 3 home runs, 9 runs batted in across 12 games. One 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball. That's in there for a strike. It's 1-1.
And Byron Reichstein's role on this team, he's been very consistent throughout his time in the Intercounty Baseball League with the London Majors, going back to the championship teams. But he's someone who, when your top performers like Caden Cardoso or Starling Joseph, even Deoli are having perhaps a little bit of an off day, Reichstein, a name like him, Kresminski, or Mosher really can step in and make that difference in the end.
Reichstein drives this one pretty deep to left field, going back on it. Nellis, and on the warning track, he hauls it in for the second out.
And Dylan, that wasn't a particularly fast swing there in the end. He had really, really good contact with it, though. Byron Reichstein was able to poke it out, as you mentioned, all the way back to the warning track. So an early warning here for the Royals and Reese Montgomery.
2 out now in the bottom of the second inning, and that'll bring up Victor Plaz. Plaz, who went through a bit of a dry spell after the game in Barrie against the Baycats and seemed to turn a tide on Sunday against the Barnstormers, collecting 3 hits and 5 at-bats in that game. Into the windup goes Montgomery. Here's the pitch. That's in there for a strike, 0-1. That one misses, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Victor Plaz, another really, really strong player. Consistent starter at third base for the Majors. I think 283 on the year. And an OBP of 353.
2 balls, 1 strike, the count here to Plaz. Montgomery working very quickly on the mound. Cut on and missed there by the Majors' third baseman, and the count is 2-2. Montgomery gets the baseball back, sets up on the mound, looks in for the sign, has not shaken off his catcher Del Rosario in a while, and right back into the windup. Here comes the 2-2 to Plaz, fouled straight back. Plaz may want to call time here just to catch his breath at some point.
Oh, the pitches are coming in tremendously fast, and not just in terms of the separation of when they're being thrown, but the fastballs high and inside are going to take a toll on any batter at the box. But nonetheless, here comes another one, Dill.
2-2 will miss low, so the count now runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. I don't know if Reese Montgomery's used to pitching with a pitch clock. He seems to be going maybe even faster than he would with a pitch clock. Here comes the full count pitch to Plaz.
He's going seconds.
Lined in the left field, that's going to be a base hit. The Majors have their first hit of the ball game. It's a solid line drive to left for Victor Plaz.
And that was definitely mind games on both sides there for both Reese Montgomery and Victor Plaz. In the end, Plaz was able to catch his breath somehow miraculously, Dylan. Was able to get a solid line drive off a fastball coming in towards him. Out to left field, the first Major to get on base today. And the oh-so-dangerous Caden Cardoso trying to make it a 17-game hit streak.
Cardoso batting 7th today, hitting .343 on the year. 3 home runs, 12 runs batted in. And you mentioned it, 16-game hitting streak. Unheard of.
Definitely, and it's been a little while since Cardoso has had a deep ball, as he's had 3 home runs for the majority of the Intercounty Baseball League season so far, so definitely due for a long bomb.
3 home runs in his first 4 games, no home runs since the May 21st game in Chatham-Kent. So you mentioned it, he is due. That one misses from Montgomery for ball 1.
Starling Joseph was due, and as you mentioned last game, he went deep, so it's only a matter of time before Caden Cardoso does so as well.
1-0 count, 2 out. Taking the lead off of first is Plaz. Not a very big one as the breaking ball finds the zone on Cardoso. It's 1-1.
That was a perfect pitch from Reese Montgomery. I mean, the movement that had looked like it was going to be a fastball at first, but just broke inside perfectly and caught that upstairs corner inside on Caden Cardoso. A nasty toss.
Here's the 1-1. That one misses, 2-1. A lot of the Majors hitters struggling against left-handed pitching this season. Caden Cardoso, not one of those guys. Cardoso batting .385 against lefties this year. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Cardoso chops that one foul, and the count now runs to 2-2.
That breaking ball didn't get it quite as under control as the first one that caught Cardoso high and inside, so he was able to see it a little bit better at the plate that time, took a hack at it, was going tiny bit slower and was more upstairs to his left than the last pitch.
Here's the 2-2 home. Cardoso sends this one to center field. Williams charging in. He's under it, and he's got it to retire the side. So a base runner in the bottom of the second for the Majors, but nothing more. Still no score as we hit the break. Back here on Majors TV, some umbrellas coming out. Don't see any rain from up here, hoping that there is no rain coming down because that's less than ideal. Elsewhere in the sports world tonight, Ty, the National Hockey League draft. First 7 picks are in so far.
Yeah, been interesting. Obviously live from Las Vegas.
The Sphere.
The Sphere, the beautiful Sphere. Definitely one of the coolest venues all across sports and entertainment so far. Sitting downtown in the heart of Las Vegas, and it's just really, really a great venue. Obviously, Macklin Celebrini, the vastly expected overall first pick from Boston University, went to the San Jose Sharks. We saw a couple surprises, including an Anaheim Ducks pick.
Beckett Seneca going number 3. Even he was surprised. I don't know if you've seen the videos online. Beckett Seneca was surprised he got picked at number 3. Other big picks, Caden Lindstrom going to the Blue Jackets at number 4. Ivan Demidov to the Canadiens at number 5. T.J. Ginla, Jerome's son, going to the to the Utah Hockey Club at 6.
Canadians another pick that's probably not going to turn out for you, Dylan. No, I'm just kidding.
I told Ty before the game today that I was a Montreal Canadiens fan as that first pitch misses to Joseph Del Rosario, and Ty immediately chirped every Canadiens first-round pick in the last 10 years.
I do have respect for the franchise, if you can't tell by the chirp who I cheer for. Rooting for the boys in blue. Your Toronto Maple Leafs, Dylan.
1 ball, 1 strike here to Del Rosario. Carter Yakemchuk selected by the Ottawa Senators at number 7. We'll keep an eye on the draft the rest of the night. We're not going to give you a pick by pick, but
this is a baseball game.
Absolutely. 2-1 count here on Joseph Del Rosario.
We'll look for Payano to keep up his immaculate pitching so far. Really, really strong on his fastball. It's been so technical. Has the pace and the location on that. As that looked to be a strike to me, Dylan, but the umpire doesn't think so.
Called it low, so count is now 3-1 on Del Rosario, who's hitting 154 on the year. Not the kind of guy you want to fall behind if you're Victor Payano. The lefty delivers the 3-1. On the ground, right back to the pitcher's mound. Payano running off the rubber, flipping it over to Cardoso, and there's one gone now in the top of the third.
Yeah, Payano wasn't going to take a chance on that one. He had to jog over just a tiny bit to get that ball to Caden Cardoso, but a good hard fastball was swung on low, caught the glove directly back to him, and wasn't in an awkward position in the end, and a fairly easy out for the Majors, so more of the same from Victor Payano.
So 1 out, nobody on, and that'll bring up Ryosuke Ohashi. Ohashi batting .333, 19 for 57 this year across 14 games played for the Royals. Breaking ball, missing for ball 1.
Ohashi playing formerly in Japan. Shibetsu Samurai Blades, actually, Dylan. So what an awesome name for a team.
That is a pretty cool baseball team name. Here's the 1-0. That one fouled off by Ohashi, 1-1.
Took a good hack at that one. Ohashi off another strong fastball. Carrying inside from Victor Payano. Back of the order has had a little bit of trouble here with the heat that he's been delivering.
1-1 pitch. Checked his swing. Did he go around? They'll call it a strike, and so it's 1-2.
See, the bat speed just wasn't quite there from Ohashi. Has to read the pitch a little bit better here, but difficult to do against Payano.
1-2 pitch. Upstairs to Ohashi. Tried the high fastball to get the chase. Did not get a swing. Two and two count, 1 out. Payano trying to put away Ohashi here. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Payano sets down Ryosuke Ohashi, and he's got his second strikeout of the ball game.
Yeah, strikeout number 2 for Payano. In the end of the day, it's just simply too hot to handle from him. Throwing gas towards the plate. Beautifully under control. Perfectly placed pitches. Velocity just too much in the end of the day for the Royals side so far.
So back to the top of the order here for the Guelph Royals as Brando LaRue will step into the batter's box. LaRue lined one hard to Starling Joseph in the first inning to kick off the ball game. On the very first pitch he saw, as that one's there for, no, it's off the plate outside, excuse me, for ball 1.
LaRue, another player with college experience, D1 for the Florida Atlantic Owls, team that made a top 4 finish in March Madness last year.
That one skied into right field, and Byron Reichstein will haul it in. So 1 hit on the line of Victor Payano so far through 3 innings. He's got another scoreless frame.
Really, really solid job from Victor Payano. None of the players really, except for Garton or J.D. Williams, were able to get any of his pitches under control. And he's done a fantastic job delivering very, very well-placed balls, fast velocity. And Brandon LaRue, a pretty good hitter on this team, has now flown out twice to left and right field, respectively.
We're going to send things over now to Justin Koehler. Justin, what do you got for us?
Gentlemen, one of the best things that the Majors have been doing so far this season is also one of the fundamentals in just winning baseball games in general, and that is finding any way that they can at all to get on base, whether it be a walk or a hit. So far on the season, the team ranks in second place with a .292 average collectively. When it comes to getting on base, they sit in third place with a .386 on-base percentage. In both those categories, there's kind of one key player that stands out for each across the entire Majors roster. When it comes to getting hits, an average, Caden Cardoso has been the standout player so far for the team, batting .343 for 9th in the entire IBL. So a top 10 player when it comes to hitting. When it comes to getting on base, there's one key player who stands out in a lot of the leagues as well, and that comes down to Byron Reichstein, who currently sits with 14 walks and an on-base percentage of .583, which is just crazy to think about as a whole. And so between those two players, you have a top 10 hitter and a top 2 player at just getting on base. And all that comes down to the team collectively feeling confident in just driving up pitch counts, taking walks, and a lot of that, GM and co-owner Roop Chandradat says, comes down to the fact that behind every single player is another batter who's just as good at getting on base and driving in runs. And so, without further ado, let's send it back up to Ty and Dylan in the Game Day London press box. And gentlemen, they're hoping to replicate some of that magic here today.
Thank you, Justin. We appreciate you getting rained on for us. We're told the rain is coming down just a little bit out there, so we're glad you were able to give us that story. Major's done a good job getting on base, and Byron Reichstein, an OBP over 500 tie. That's unbelievable.
It really, really is impressive. Such a fantastic player, and has done a great job for the Majors. As I mentioned, they have several players on this lineup that loom outside of DeOlio, Starling Joseph, and I should say Caden Cardoso, who can really step up when those players are having a tough time at the plate, as Cleve Brownlee hits one directly to the first baseman.
Brownlee grounds that one to Josh Garton. Garton bobbled it initially, but was able to record the out over at first base, and there's one gone in the bottom of the third.
Brownlee DHing today, still looking to get things under control in his season. Obviously the most storied and probably historic Major in all of the franchise. He's played a lot of games, Dylan, seen a lot of baseball, and if the Majors do end up making a deep playoff run this year, his veteran experience will certainly help the team out in waves.
Brownlee's been around the ball club for a long time. Despite the fact he's struggling a little bit more at the plate this season, just having him around the team certainly provides some good added experience. As the first offering to Drew Lawrence misses high. It's 1-0. Count here. Lawrence squares around to bunt, gets it down. It's a pretty good one. It's in fair territory. The throw from Del Rosario is not in time. Time is called here by the home plate umpire, Justin Snively Topping, and he's going to talk things over with his other umpires, Bob Blake and Isaac Zipchuk. Not sure what they would be ruling here. Perhaps that Lawrence got in the way. I don't know. He called time immediately and called in his partners, so clearly he saw something.
They're going to say he's out at first, Dylan.
I'd like to know the reasoning for that call. I'm not 100% sure what the decision is based on.
It's really too bad in the end because Drew Lawrence perfectly placed that bunt directly in the right area, gave himself more than enough time to reach first safely. But it's to his chagrin in the end, and it's really too bad off a fantastic bunt display.
My guess is they're going to judge that he interfered with either the throw or the play. I would assume it's the play because I don't think he would have interfered with the throwing lane at all, considering where Del Rosario fielded it. So perhaps he just got in the way of the catcher as he was trying to play it. That one will miss for ball one.
Back to the top of the Majors order now. Ty Mosher, he flew out in his first at bat.
That's there for a strike to Mosher. 1-1 the count. Mosher batting over 300 this season, as we mentioned earlier on. Here's the 1-1 from Montgomery. Mosher gives this one a pretty good ride to left center field. Moving over is Nellis, and he can't get there. It's down for a base hit. Mosher around first. He will stroll into second with a 2-out double.
That was a booming hit, thwarted off the back of Ty Mosher there. Carried out nicely. Looked like it might have had a chance at first, Dylan, but a little bit too low in the end. But it did reach the back wall and the warning track in the end. Too quick for Mark Nellis to make his way over to the ball, and a rather long run for him. But a fantastic hit from Ty Mosher. Gets the Majors in scoring position with 2 outs in the bottom of the third.
So Mosher on at second for Gibson Krasminski, and thanks to Justin Koehler for giving us the information on the Drew Lawrence play. They judged that the ball hit Drew Lawrence after he bunted it in fair territory, which makes him out automatically. So Justin Snively Topping just confirming with his partners that they saw the same thing out there as Krasminski scorches this one, but it's foul, and they said, yes, I think it did hit him, and so Lawrence gets called out for that.
Another one that was shot back to that left field area. Sounded really good off the bat, but just carried too far left down that third base line.
0-1 count here on Gibson Krasminski. In his last trip to the plate, he flew out to shallow right field. Andy Leader made the catch. 0-1 home. Off the plate outside, it's 1-1. And Drew Lawrence did not argue one bit when he was called out. He just trotted off the field. He clearly knew that the ball hit him, and he had no way of contesting it.
Was hoping that the umpires would let that slide in the end get by them, but he definitely did not put up a fight when he found out their decision.
1-1 home to Krasminski. He gives this one a pretty good ride to left field. Nellis gets turned around as he's going back, and it's going to fall in. Mosher around third. He will come in to score. Krasminski pulls into second, and the Majors lead 1-0.
An RBI double off a pitch that was absolutely laced back into a similar area that Ty Mosher did as well. Gibson Krasminski just reamed one, and it was way too hard for Mark Ellis to catch in the end. Ends up scoring the first run of this game. We have equaled the tally to the last game between these two teams, Dylan, and it's only the third inning. Exciting stuff from the Majors offense with the dangerous Starling Joseph stepping back in, continuing to have Krasminski on second base, still in scoring position with 2 outs.
So Joseph trying to drive home another run. Let's not get too excited here, Ty. In that game, it was an early run for the Guelph Royals. I believe it came in the 4th inning, and then there was nothing the rest of the way. So we'll see what we get here tonight. Joseph trying to give the Majors some insurance with that runner in scoring position at second. Here's the pitch from Montgomery. Joseph hits that one on the ground towards shortstop. LaRue a couple of steps in. Throw to first is in time to get Starling and retire the side, but not before the Majors strike first on a double from Gibson Krasminski. It's 1-0 London after 3. Ty White on the call when we come back.
The best of the Intercounty Baseball League descend on the Rose City on July 20th as the 2023 Dominico Cup champion Welland Jackfish and Welland Stadium host the 2024 Intercounty Baseball League All-Star Showdown and Home Run Derby. For ticket information, visit wellandjackfish.com/all-star or call 905-735-9834. Welland Jackfish Baseball. Fans first, fun always. Get hooked.
Welcome back, folks, inside Labatt Memorial Park, the Forks of the Thames in downtown London. And if you're just joining us, the London Majors currently lead 1-0 over the visiting Guelph Royals after an RBI double from Gibson Krasminski, helping to score Ty Mosher to open up this contest. Ty White joined alongside Dylan Baker, taking over the action and play-by-play. The 3rd through 6th inning. We have a good one so far. The rain's starting to fall just a little bit. The weather has stayed pretty decently warm all throughout the night, despite the sun not coming out just yet. The Friday night lights are starting to shine down, though, and this contest is heating up. The last time these two teams faced, it was a 1-0 final in favor of Guelph, as we mentioned previously. And that one run in the game did come pretty early on, as we believe in the 4th inning. So hopefully we won't see more of the same. A little bit more offense gives a more entertaining game. But Victor Payano definitely has his hands full. He's done a good job so far, keeping things scoreless for the Major side. Has 2 strikeouts to his name already as Connor Morrow checks back in the batter's box. Morrow grounded out in his first at-bat. He's DHing today for the Royals. Native of Ontario and played his college ball in Canisius for the Golden Griffins in Buffalo. First pitch from Payano is fouled off behind by Morrow. Counted 0-1. Very decent sized crowd here for not particularly sunny Friday evening, as this one is smacked out foul. Hard out to the right field area, carrying and far back. So quickly, Morrow is down 0-2. Payano looking to record his 3rd strikeout of his outing so far. And no movement in either bullpens, as this one is chopped a little bit, spinning towards that right field side, and a souvenir for the fans, the right field bleachers in the end. And keeping himself alive, Morrow still at 0-2. As Payano gets rid of that ball, doesn't like the feel of it. The 0-2 to Morrow. A fastball upstairs, too high, and it's going to be the first ball of the at-bat. Connor Morrow fighting back at 1-2 now. Morrow batting second in the order today for the Royals. As he smacks one out to center field, it's carrying back, and Drew Lawrence is going to have to trot backwards, but in the end, a pretty routine catch to record the first out. And the top of the 4th, the Majors have one down. Zamora flies out 0 for 2 on the day. Batting third in the lineup, second in this appearance for the Royals. Andy Leader steps back out. Payano recorded his first strikeout in the evening against Leader. Breaking ball dropped. It looked like it was down the middle, relatively inside, but the umpire's going to say it was a little bit too high. So it's 1-0 to Andy Leader. Another breaking ball, high and right. It is going to be outside as well. So 2 breaking balls from Payano for 2 balls. And hasn't drawn a swing yet from Andy Leader. Fastball now high and inside of a very good pitch. And that hurl gets the first swing drawn from Leader. Count at 2-1. Two one from Payano. Another fastball inside, and Leader took a hack at that one, fouled it off. Even at 2-2 now.
Good job by Victor Payano battling back in this at-bat here, Ty. Fell behind pretty quickly to a very good hitter in the form of Andy Leader, and so far has worked very hard to get back in the count. Now is a chance to put him away.
Looking for his third strikeout of the evening. Fastball inside, and it's not going to get him this time. Count moves to full on Andy Leader. Andy Leader, another former player of Canisius, playing for the Golden Griffins in Buffalo, and formerly of the Kitchener Panthers in the IBL. The full count swung on, strike 3 called. The third strikeout of his outing for Victor Payano, and a fastball gets by Andy Leader to sit him down, and he moves to 0-2 with 2 strikeouts.
Really good pitch there from Victor Payano, getting the swing and miss from Andy Leader. Worked a pretty good pitch that ended up being right down the middle pretty much, and Leader cut on and missed it. So a big second out there for the Majors' big lefty.
The first player to reach base in the entirety of this game steps back up, Josh Garton. 1 for 1 with a single and a stolen base to his name. Obviously was thrown out at third base on Ty Mosher, choosing to go there, as that one is in there for strike 1, and Payano was ahead 0-1.
Pretty breaking ball there for Victor Payano. Nearly clipped Josh Garton on the way by, winds up being a strike.
Garton takes a hack at this one. It's going to carry well left. Plaza's going to make the run, but it's going to go very deep into the bleachers. They count at 0-2 now, and it looks like Garton has switched things up, Dylan, using a blue bat out there now instead of his green one.
I'm sure he's got lots of bats in his repertoire. Garton does not shy away from keeping himself up to date with the freshest gear.
So you could see the bit of pink on those shoes as well, looking snazzy at the mound. Payano, fastball, gets by Josh Garton to retire him. One of the best hitters in the Inter-County Baseball League gets sat down by Victor Payano for the 4th strikeout of his outing. The Majors sit down 3 in order.
Good job there by Victor Payano against Josh Garton, making quick work of him on just 3 pitches. A strike called, a foul ball, and a strike swinging to sit down Josh Garton. A really good fastball to finish things up against him that jammed him up. There was nothing Garton was going to do with that pitch if he made contact, and eventually for Payano it ends up being a swing and a miss. You mentioned it, Ty, 4th strikeout of the ball game. We had seen some lower strikeout figures, not necessarily very low, but some lower figures from Payano up to this point in the season. On Sunday against Chatham, he struck out 9 in that outing, the 10-0 Majors victory, and so far 4 punch-outs across 4 innings. So good to see that the strikeout number is coming up again a little bit for Victor Payano, because that's what the Majors want to see from a guy who's supposed to be, and has been over his last few starts, a dominant arm.
Yeah, for sure, Dylan. And as I mentioned previously, no action in either bullpen thus far. But we do have Reese Montgomery back on the mound. Obviously, Payano, very strong performance through his first 4 innings. Dylan, what do you make of Montgomery's?
You know what, Ty? I've been very impressed by what I've seen from Reese Montgomery. He's allowed the 3 hits. A couple of them were some interesting line drives out to left field where Nellis got turned around by the fence here at Labatt Memorial Park. We weren't sure how much we were going to see out of Montgomery up to this point in the ball game, but he's done a really good job, and he's continuing on in this contest at 37 pitches through 3 innings.
So you mentioned we thought it would be very much a bullpen game in this one. No action in the bullpen for the Guelph Royals, and staying strong through 4 is Reese Montgomery, only allowing 1 hit into his 4th inning right now. And it looks like Eduardo DeOlio checking back in for the Majors. He's going to be followed by Byron Reichstein and Victor Plaz. He's batting cleanup today.
Just quickly, Ty, I want to congratulate London Knights defenseman Sam Dickinson, selected by the San Jose Sharks in the NHL draft tonight.
Congratulations, the Knights player there. Obviously very proud of the London Knights having a fantastic season in the OHL and making it to the Mem Cup final. Dill, you were there in person. We sat down with, obviously, the goaltender in an interview here up in the Game Day London broadcast booth.
Yeah, we did. We had a chance to talk to Michael Simpson. That was pretty cool to get a chance to chat with him up here at Labatt Memorial Park. And you mentioned what a great year for the Knights. They came up just short in that Memorial Cup final.
So the 1-1 now from Reese Montgomery over to Eduardo DeOlio. Mentioned struggling slightly with the average so far this season, but has not been shy in the RBI or run column. Fastball high and inside to the displeasure of the fans around Labatt Memorial Park. And DeOlio down 1-2.
Majors fans are never shy about letting their opinions be heard about every pitch, every call.
Definitely not. Another fastball high and outside, and DeOlio will reach for that one, takes a hack at it, and blasts it back towards the trees and the road. So we'll say a prayer for any car outside as he keeps himself alive at 1-2. Looked like DeOlio got a piece of that pitch, keeps himself alive once again. He flew out in his first at bat. One, two, another one blasted. You have to be careful there. Watch out. A couple fans had to dodge a ball that was a bullet in the end of the day, rocketing straight towards them, and there is no protective netting there, Dylan.
No, there is not. A hard-hit foul ball off the bat of DeOlio. Ty, obviously I score things electronically on Game Changer. I'm having a hard time keeping up with the speed at which Montgomery is pitching here.
We mentioned he's delivering ball after ball as DeOlio pokes a bit of a softie right out to Ohashi, makes the throw to first, and he's retired for the first out in the bottom of the 4th for Guelph.
Really good pitch there from Montgomery on the outside part of the plate, just off the end of the bat for Eduardo DeOlio, and he rolls over on it to Ryosuke Ohashi at second. And a good first out after a lengthy battle with Eduardo DeOlio.
Lengthy battle, but it went by rather quickly than other battles, Dylan. As you mentioned, the speed at which Montgomery is turning these fastballs over one after one after one is pretty impressive, and an interesting strategy, I think, from a pitcher. Trying to wear out his opponent quickly is that fastball, low outside, and Reichstein's going to watch it go right by him. Byron Reichstein flew out in his last at-bat, but it did reach the warning track as he is going to pop another one into shallow right field. It's going to be chased back. At the end of the day, pretty easy run for Andy Leader, and Majors are quickly down 2 in the bottom of the 4th.
Good play there by Andy Leader, taking control out in shallow right field. That can be a dangerous play as the second baseman and right fielder come out, but Leader, who's used to taking command of the outfield, a former center fielder for the Kitchener Panthers, calls off his second baseman and records the second out of the 4th inning.
So one of the few players with a hit in this contest, Victor Plaz, has a single to his name so far, 1 for 1 on the day. Checks back in. First offering from Montgomery's a fastball too low. Plaz ahead 1-0.
Good take there from Plaz. That's a pretty good pitch from the Guelph left-hander.
This ball, really one of the first ones we've seen get way outside out of his control. Perhaps after the speed at which he's throwing them, one of them is going to eventually carry outside. Two and 0 now to Plaz. Plaz will take a swing at this one, fouls it directly behind him for the first strike of this at-bat.
That was probably inches, Ty, away from that hole in the netting that saw a foul ball off the bat of Eduardo Deolio go straight through it. Not all that long ago. I believe that was on Pack the Park Day, actually, where it was just lined straight through the netting. A scary little spot over there.
Ball was breaking down low, carried towards inside of the plate as it reached the plate. But Plaz is going to watch that go well in the dirt. 3-1, the ball 4 counts. Starting to rain down. Fastball inside. Plaz watches it go by him, and he's going to walk today. I believe the first walk of the entire game, Dylan, sees Victor Plaz reach base for the second time.
First walk for either side. Yeah, Ty. No player on either team has worked a walk, so Victor Plaz takes the first one here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Good plate appearance there by Plaz. Took some tough pitches, and the result is a base on balls.
Cardoso steps in, being in not the most favorable position with 2 outs, but nonetheless he has something to work with Victor Plaz on first, looking to continue that hit streak. Flew out in his last at-bat. Well inside there, but on a very strong fastball, I might add, from Montgomery. Cardoso took a hack at it and is down 0-1.
Some sharp break down in the strike zone there to Cardoso.
And we have a peek from Montgomery here, moving it back towards Josh Garton at first base, trying to tag out Plaz, but he got back with more than enough time. The 0-1 to Caden Cardoso. Another fastball inside. The umpire's going to say it caught that corner, and he's pitching very hot stuff to Caden Cardoso. Really nice inside fastball from Montgomery. Cardoso down 0-2. Montgomery again inside. That looked like very, very similar position, Dylan. The ball had a bit of movement on it, but a little bit too far outside for the umpire's liking, and the count at 1-2 now.
Yeah, those two pitches probably finished in the exact same spot in the catcher's glove, but it was the movement they took in getting there that was different. The second pitch was a breaking ball, and it's crossed the plate way too far inside.
Cardoso will take a swing at this one. It will make it past Ohashi. Victor Plaz on his way to third base. And Caden Cardoso now at a 17-game hit streak. What a fantastic run that man is on. And the Majors paint the corners with 2 outs at the bottom of the 4th.
Great job there by Caden Cardoso. Hit and run was on there for the Majors, or perhaps just a steal for Victor Plaz with 2 out, and it didn't really matter if Cardoso swung or not, and he found the perfect spot for it. Ohashi was shaded a little bit more up the middle. Now, that wasn't a product of Ohashi going to cover the second base bag. With the lefty Cardoso up, Ohashi's not going to vary from his positioning, but Cardoso found the right spot for it, and when you're hot, Ty. Cardoso extends the hitting streak to 17 games on a ball that just found the gap.
We're reaching Joe DiMaggio numbers with this hit streak, Dylan. And what a player Caden Cardoso is. Cleveland Brownlee, DHing today, stepping back into the batter's box as he grounded out. Bit of a softie that ended up reaching first base in the end, so he's going to look to improve on his performance this season. So he mentioned that really the first year that Cleve's not been exactly himself, obviously getting up there in years, and been here a long time with the London Majors. Certainly a fan favorite and one of the really nicest players on this team.
Cleveland Brownlee has been one of my favorite guys to interact with throughout all my time in broadcasting. I mean, always so good with us, always joking around, smiling, laughing, telling us things he's going to do in the ballgame. He's told me he's going to steal a base tonight every game since I joined the team in 2019. Cleve's awesome.
Yet to see that stolen base, Dylan, but I'm sure it's coming soon from Cleve. Self-proclaimed fastest man at the ballpark. Native of Atlanta, Georgia. As the boos ring down towards Ty Montgomery, throwing that back towards first base to try to tag out Cardoso. for a cheeky third out.
Cardoso was dancing around over at first base, trying to get the attention of the left-handed pitcher on the mound. Not a bad idea with the runner over at third base, and he got the throw over.
Trying to distract him a little bit, and we'll see if Cleveland Brownlee can capitalize here. He's going to foul one off behind him. Cardoso made a nice run over. He's upset that didn't reach, and they were on base because that would have been a nice steal in the end.
Didn't even look like the Royals players budged at all. I don't think anybody was going to be covering. They were just going to allow Cardoso to take that base with the runner at third. They didn't want to risk a throw that could allow Victor Plaz to score.
Cleveland Brownlee is going to hit one directly to the second baseman. Ohashi flips that one over and will retire the Majors side. So close, but no cigar for the Majors to add on to their lead. 1-0 so far. Guelph trying to change that when we come back. You're watching Majors TV. Welcome back to downtown London, Ontario. At the world's oldest baseball grounds, Labatt Memorial Park, the London Majors currently leading the visiting Guelph Royals 1-0. And if you're watching, a fan of the Intercounty Baseball League, around the league, a couple games on tonight. Apart from this one, the Welland Jackfish in Hamilton taking on the Cardinals. The Kitchener Panthers also in Brantford taking on the Red Sox. As we mentioned in previous broadcasts, a very potent time for sports across the globe. All 30 Major League teams in action tonight. Yankees at the Blue Jays. Tigers in Los Angeles taking on the Angels for our baseball fans. Obviously, Stanley Cup champions were crowned in the NHL. The Florida Panthers in a very entertaining Game 7 over the Edmonton Oilers there. And obviously the NHL draft tonight. In the NBA, they had their draft not too long ago. 2 French players going with the first 2 picks, Dylan. Zachary Rissache for the Atlanta Hawks. Exciting times as well in soccer. Round of 16 in the Euros are tomorrow in Germany. And Canada's in the Copa America playing Chile on Saturday in Orlando, Florida, looking to advance to the next round.
Here's your sports rundown, courtesy of Ty. I like it.
Great time for sports in the summer. Get fans so excited as Payano continues to make his assault on the Royals order. J.D. Williams checks back in, another player who got on base for the Royals. 1 for 1 with a single. Was ultimately a fielder's choice, throwing out Garton at third. He also has a stolen base to his name. Fastball is going to be belted right towards Gibson Kresminski. Makes the quick turn over to Cardoso, and 1 down for the Majors.
That one hit hard off the bat there of J.D. Williams, but Gibson Kresminski only a couple of steps to his left. Didn't mean it was an easy play. He had to pick that on the backhand, but did a good job making that play look easy and toss it over to first.
So the former Mississauga Tiger, Mark Nellis, checks back in, playing left field. He flew out in his first at-bat. Spiano in there for ball 1.
Mississauga Tigers connections with this Royals squad. Sean Travers, the director of player personnel for Guelph, actually founded the Mississauga North Tigers high-performance program.
Payano, fastball is swung on to shallow left, looming towards center. Going to be called off in the end by Drew Lawrence. Communication needed in the end by the Majors, and they have it. 2 quick outs in the top of the 5th.
Talked about the communication from Andy Leader out in right field in the last inning. Great job by Drew Lawrence taking control. The center fielder's got priority over everybody on the diamond. Lawrence racing in, Ty Mosher probably could have made that play, but he seemed to be a little off the mark. Lawrence says, I got it. Everybody else backs away, and with the speed that Drew's got, that catch is no problem for him.
Keon Moseni playing third base, 0 for 1 today with a flyout. Takes a hack at this ball, carrying across the plate on a nasty pitch from Victor Payano. He has 2 outs for his side, and the count's at 0-1. Oh, 1 fastball, a little bit low and outside, count even at 1 apiece.
Good pitch there from Payano, regardless of the fact that he didn't get the call he was looking for from the home plate umpire. Still a good spot to be missing it.
The 1-1 is going to be chopped directly towards Caden Cardoso. A bouncing ball and an easy out in the end for the Majors. Once again, the Majors retire the side in order. Grounding out Keon Moseni, down 0-2 on the day. And what a job so far by Victor Payano. Very worthy of an all-star performance this game. Speaking of all-stars, Dylan, we got an exciting bit of all-star play coming up in Welland. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, July 20th, I believe, is the All-Star Showdown in Welland. I better check that before I make any big proclamations. Yes, it is, July 20th in Welland. The All-Star Showdown. It's been a while since the IBL's had an All-Star game. You can vote for your favorite majors and most deserving majors. There are lots of majors that are up for balloting right now. Travis Keys leads the vote among pitchers. Braden Farrington's in 5th. He says he's going to bring out a different glove every single inning if he gets voted into the All-Star game, so just an extra case for him. Jose Arias, I believe, in 6th right now among the pitchers. On the offensive side, Eduardo Deolio leads for catchers. You've got Caden Cardoso, who I believe is in 2nd among infielders right now. Starling Joseph is up near the top among outfielders. So Majors fans are doing a great job of voting so far.
Keep it up.
You can continue to vote for your favorite and most deserving majors. I believe voting closes on July 7th, so it's coming up. I believe that's next week. It is the deadline to vote, and so things are progressing quickly as we approach the 2024 IBL All-Star Showdown in Welland. There'll be a home run derby at 3 o'clock, I believe, that day. Then a slight little break for some autographs for fans. 6 o'clock first pitch on the All-Star game. Fireworks after the event. You can get your tickets on the Welland Jackfish website. That's about all the details I've got for this All-Star
Showdown. You did a good job, Dylan. Folks, get your votes in and get your tickets. Should be a fantastic day for baseball, hosted by our friends in Welland. And the chance to see a lot of Majors players. It looks like Dylan going to make an appearance in that game.
We'll see what happens. I mean, the league is divided into 2 groups, North and South, for this vote, and Majors fans have certainly done a good job of voting up to this point.
So the Majors trying to continue to add on to their lead. Reese Montgomery remains on the rubber. And Drew Lawrence, who had that unfortunate play, was a perfect bunt. And he was going to reach base, but interfered a little bit immediately with the play, and so it was called off. So he was called out, still looking to get on base for the first time. Bottom of the 5th begins, and a fastball well inside. Had to dodge that one, Lawrence, and it's 1-0.
You may have seen it on your screen there, Josh Garton and Drew Lawrence having a little bit of fun. Garton was way in on the cut of the grass, so Drew gave him a smile and flash bunt a couple of times. The Royals know Drew Lawrence is all about his speed and is certainly a bunt candidate every single time he comes up.
Looks for another bunt there, potentially. Will be called for a strike. Carried him all the way across the plate, almost made the run without even recording a hit, Dylan.
Yeah, it's a tough one to bunt on for Drew Lawrence. It's a curveball, and so where he's looking to get that ball down, the pitch looks way too far outside. Eventually, it does come in and catch the corner of the strike zone.
Not favorable for a bunt there as this ball sliding towards the middle. A little bit low. 2-1 is the count to Drew Lawrence. As you mentioned, has that lightning quick speed. Definitely the capability to record a bunt and make it safely to first, as we saw as he's going to chop one hard off, well behind, down the first base bleachers.
Bit of an emergency hack there from Lawrence. Saw a pitch that was in the strike zone but was way, way late on it and sent that one well foul.
2-2, an even count, as Lawrence hits one to a similar position, keeps himself alive though. And Reese Montgomery with another fastball.
Yeah, a little earlier on that fastball was Drew Lawrence staying alive in this count. Did a good job on that last pitch because it looked to have been a strike.
The 2-2. Fastball, a little bit low. Count moves to full. And a good at-bat here from Drew Lawrence.
Drew Lawrence has been putting together some really good at-bats this season. He's been walking more than he has been over the past couple of years and getting a lot of hits as well.
He's going to make this one creak into that left field side perfectly. In between LaRue and Moseni. Will get in there for a single, so finally Lawrence able to reach base, and I think that is justified, and it redeems himself earlier for that tiny mistake that he had, but he will reach first. And the first at-bat at the top of the fifth for the Majors.
Yeah, good job by Drew Lawrence hitting in the number 9 spot. It's an overused cliche as the second leadoff hitter down there, but realistically that's what Drew Lawrence is. If he comes up to start off an inning like he did just now, he's certainly a candidate to get on and make something happen on the base paths. Watch for the sack bunt here with Mosher at the plate, Ty. Just a feeling I have.
Okay, we're looking for a sack bunt, says Dylan. Mosher's going to take a hat. Fouls that behind him. If you recall, scored the leading run so far in this game earlier, and he recorded a double that reached the warning track and the wall. Very impressive back-to-back at-bats from Mosher and Kresminski. The scoring sequence as this one is thrown back to first base. Montgomery trying to pick off Drew Lawrence, but he's a quick man and gets back in time.
Yeah, caught Drew off guard there, it looks like. I'm not quite the prediction master that you are, Ty, so I got that one wrong in the first pitch.
But we'll keep an eye out for it. 0-1, fastball. Second base looking to be stolen, and no signal yet from the umpire, but I believe it was in time from Drew Lawrence. So a stolen base there from the speedy Lawrence and the Majors. He sits in scoring position with no outs. Count it 1-1 to Ty Mosher.
Terrific jump there for Drew Lawrence. He had that base stolen from the very first moment. The shortstop, Randall LaRue, didn't even bother applying the tag. A really good job by Drew reading Reese Montgomery and swiping that bag.
He's got a hot foot in scoring position. Potential show of a bunt there from Mosher. Going to carry outside, though. Count at 2-1.
I do know what I'm talking about sometimes. Ty squaring around a bunt for the sack bunt there?
You did say it, Dylan.
Different situation, I suppose, now that Lawrence is out at second base, but I'll still take credit for it.
You should take credit.
Around.
We both predicted something correctly. If that's not a win in the broadcast booth, I don't know what is. 2-1. Mosher's going to watch that. Hit off the chest of Del Rosario. Count at 3-1 now. Potential to walk here. As we mentioned, only one walk previously in this game. It was from Victor Plaz in his last at-bat. And ball 4 chance. Raining down from the Majors faithful. Drew Lawrence still at second. Well inside. And he's going to flick the bat over for the second walk of the game. Ty Mosher reaching base in back-to-back at-bats. And a very strong at-bat for him. A little bit less for Reese Montgomery.
Really good job there by Ty Mosher. Montgomery was thinking about the runner over at second base, and now he's going to get a mound visit from his manager, Dino Rumel. There is action in the Guelph Royals bullpen right now. That is Nelson Mercado getting loose in the Guelph pen. He's a junior arm, big righty. We'll see when Mercado comes in. This season for Montgomery, we've mentioned it, this is his first start of the year. He's only pitched in 6 games this season, 11 1/3 innings for Montgomery up to this point. Pitched for the Maple Leafs in 2022.
Yeah.
Did Montgomery, but has not seen a single start in his IBL career. Up to this point this year, trying to get you his longest outing of the season. It was 3 innings coming against the Kitchener Panthers, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 3 innings in his last outing on June 23rd in Kitchener. That was in the loss to the Panthers on Sunday. Has not pitched this far in a ball game in his IBL career. Excuse me. He pitched 5 innings in 2022 against the Welland Jackfish. But since then, in the IBL, he's not pitched this long as you get a look at Mercado in the bullpen.
Good fact check there from Dylan Baker. Very good indeed. And as we mentioned several times now, we thought this was going to be very much a bullpen game on behalf of the Guelph Royals side, but As you said, Dylan, only once throughout his career has Reese Montgomery made it this far into a game on the mound. And he's done pretty respectably, only allowing 1 run so far against the Majors. But with 2 on and 0 outs, they might be able to change that here. Gibson Kresminski gets a bunt right on. The fielder's choice to first is in time. So the Majors 1 down. A sac bunt there from Gibson Kresminski, and it will advance the runners. So Drew Lawrence sits on third, Ty Mosher at second, and only 1 out.
Really, really good job there by Gibson Kresminski. A perfectly executed sacrifice bunt with nobody out and 2 runners on. You know that you can push them both into scoring position with a good bunt. And realistically, in this Majors lineup, there's probably 4 or 5 guys who are not going to bunt, and everybody else is a candidate to lay down a sacrifice bunt. Majors manager Roop Chanadat loves the small ball, and that has pushed 2 runners into scoring position here for the big part of the Majors order.
Small ball indeed so far from London. Trying to play their cards correctly here with 2 men in scoring position. Starling Joseph looks to add on to the lead. He's going to watch that carry well inside. Has to be careful. Almost hit him in the end. He's 0 for 2 on the day with a fly out and a ground out. Be a good time for Starling to get his name on the box score here. He will take a hack at this one. Pitch just fooled him a little bit in the end, not as fast as he might have anticipated from Reese Montgomery.
Really good off-speed pitch there from Reese Montgomery. Joseph, you could tell, wanted to do some damage on that offering, and really the perfect pitch to come with, knowing that he's going to be antsy and going to be excited to take a swing on it, take something off of that offering, and make him chase.
So 1-1 to Starling Joseph. That ball's in the dirt. Hit off the chest of Del Rosario. Catching today for the Royals. And no run was made. Not nearly enough time for Drew Lawrence, despite how fast he may be. Two-1 with only 1 out. And 2 men on base. Pitch again is inside. It's going to be a wild ball hitting off Rosario. And Drew Lawrence in to score the 2nd run of the game for the London Majors. Off a pitch that was too hot to handle for the catcher Del Rosario, and the Majors will score off that blunder. Double their lead, 2-0.
Yeah, that pitch in the dirt. Del Rosario did a good job of keeping the last one close, but 2 straight pitches in the dirt. That one hit off of the catcher, and he had not a clue in the world where the pitch went, which allowed Lawrence to come in to score. It was up the first baseline. He never once saw it. Montgomery charged in, was able to keep Mosher at third, but the Majors do push another run across.
So what a showing for Drew Lawrence. First the single, then he stole second base and was able to use that baseball IQ to run into home just in time, as Starling Joseph will take a walk of his own. And now Reese Montgomery in a bit of a quandary himself.
Yeah, it's a quandary that I don't think he's going to be given the chance to get out of here, Ty, as Dino Rumel is going to make his 2nd mound visit, and that typically would signal a pitching change here for the Guelph Royals.
We'll see if that does change anything, and it looks like it will. So you mentioned a pitching change coming up. All pitching changes are presented by Throw, London's original knife throwing.
Hey there, my name's Will. I'm the owner of Throw London. This is some of the staff that helps us out here from day to day to keep things moving. We have other people that work with us too. They're not here today, and we'd like to thank them for helping us and helping you. If you're not sure what you'd like to throw, an axe or a knife, we can take care of that for you. We throw the axes, knives, we have darts, shovels. You don't need to do anything. You don't need any experience whatsoever. We'll take care of that as well. If you happen to win a league and you have that competitive side, you get your name on this League of Legends wall, which is amazing. If you like to have a cold beverage, we can serve that for you as well. So when you're thinking about doing next event, friends, family, corporation, or just a hangout, come on and think about Throw London.
Pitching changes presented by Throw, London's original knife throwing. And for the first time in the game, Reese Montgomery is retired for number 35 of the Royals, Nelson Mercado, the native of Brampton, Ontario.
Yeah, Nelson Mercado about to pitch in his first ball game of the season for the Guelph Royals. He's pitched for them in each of the last 2 years. Last season, 6 games, 1 start, 0-1 with an 8.10 ERA across 13 1/3 innings. In 2022, he pitched 29 1/3 innings, pitched to a 4.60 earned run average. A big guy with a big fastball out on the rubber.
Has some time playing for the University of Arkansas at Monticello. That's D2. And as we mentioned previously in the broadcast, the NHL draft progressing, and we have another London night to announce.
Not a London night, Ty. A Londoner. Jet Lochenko, born in London, plays for the Guelph Storm, was just selected 13th overall by the Philadelphia Flyers. So a big congratulations to Jet Lochenko, who played all of his minor hockey in London, was an affiliate player for the Strathroy Rockets, now a member of the Guelph Storm, and getting selected by Philadelphia.
So congratulations to Jet Lochenko. Several London affiliated players now taken in the 2024 NHL draft in Vegas. Eduardo Deolio back at the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day, but he's being put in at a favorable position. Majors have painted the corners here. Starling Joseph on first, Ty Mosher over at third, and only 1 out. Fastball in the dirt from Mercado. Count at 1-1.
Deolio took a huge swing at that first pitch. His head came flying way off of it. Was trying to do a lot of damage on that offering and just came up empty. That last offering there from Mercado missed the zone.
The 1-1 of Deolio is swung on. It's going to carry backwards. Back into deep left field, and the run will be made in the end by Ty Mosher. The throw is not in time, and Tyler Mosher makes his way over to home, increases the Majors' lead by another one. They lead 3-0. The throw was just too far in the end from J.D. Williams, as that ball from Deolio traveled way back to deep center.
See Deolio beating himself up a little bit. It was he just got under it a small amount, and that's why it did not carry on out of here. A bit of a strange play out in left center field. Williams seemed to have a beat on it. Mark Nellis slipped on his way to go catch that baseball or cover for Williams, and then a really strong throw by J.D. Williams getting that in. Unfortunately, a little bit too late, and the Majors will take it. They're up 3-0.
The throw was straight on a line, on a rope there in the end, as that one strike one in there to Byron Reichstein. He's 0 for 2 on the day as well, with 2 flyouts to opposite sides, left and right field. So Ty Mosher gets across to score. That's his second run of the game. Stolen base opportunity here for Starling Joseph. Timed it just about perfectly. Able to slide in beautifully. Gets there well in time. And the timing was simply immaculate on that one.
4th stolen base of the year for Starling Joseph as the helmet comes over his eyes a little bit, getting up from that stolen base. His 4th steal has been caught once this year. Joseph at times has run into some problems being caught stealing. This season he's been pretty successful.
Fastball down low from Nelson Mercado. Count at 2-1 to Byron Reichstein. Joseph still on second now. Only 1 more out needed to retire the side for the Royals. Fastball high and upstairs for ball 3.
The walks have been a bit of a problem here in this inning. Starling Joseph worked a walk against Reese Montgomery. So too did Ty Mosher earlier in the frame. And now Nelson Mercado in danger of walking Byron Reichstein.
This one is swung on. Got a lot of height to it, but not too much distance. Into very shallow right field. It will be caught by Ohashi to retire the side, but not before the London Majors add 2 to their tally. They lead 3-0 over the Guelph Royals. You're watching Majors TV with Ty White and Dylan Baker.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
The best of the Intercounty Baseball League descend on the Rose City on July 20th as the 2023 Dominico Cup champion Welland Jackfish and Welland Stadium host the 2024 Intercounty Baseball League All-Star Showdown and Home Run Derby. For ticket information, visit wellandjackfish.com/all-star or call 905-735-9834. Welland Jackfish Baseball, fans first, fun always. Get hooked.
Welcome back, folks, inside Labatt Memorial Park, the Forks of the Thames in downtown London. Friday night baseball under the lights. The beautiful LED lights here. New feature at Labatt Memorial Park. If you're just joining us, the London Majors just added onto their tally, scoring 2 runs in the 5th inning. Increased their lead by 3-0 over the Guelph Royals. Victor Payano remains on the mound.
Yeah, let's go back to that bottom of the 5th inning here, Ty, because it was a bit of a strange way that the Majors pushed their runs across in that frame. It all started with the Drew Lawrence single. Then Ty Mosher worked to walk. A lot of small ball in that inning as Gibson Krasminski hit a sacrifice bunt, moving both runners up. Then a Starling Joseph walk, put another runner on base for the Majors. During that at-bat, a wild pitch scored Drew Lawrence. Very next batter with a new arm into the ball game in Nelson Mercado, Eduardo De Olio hits a sacrifice fly. So all in all in that inning, the Majors get 2 runs on just 1 hit.
Yeah.
After some walks and some wild pitches and a sacrifice fly as well.
Strange indeed, and working that small ball. Favorite scheme of Roop Chanderdat, as you mentioned, Dylan. Payano's first pitch upstairs to Del Rosario. Checking in for the second time this evening, grounded out in his first at-bat. He's going to lace one, though, into shallow center. Gets in there for a single. And 1 on at first for the Royals.
Yeah, pretty solid contact there from Joseph Del Rosario, getting that into center field. Only the second hit of the ball game for the Guelph Royals. Victor Payano has been very, very solid up to this point. Their last hit came back, I believe, in the 2nd inning. Yes, Josh Garton on a single to Gibson Krasminski was the last base hit the Guelph Royals had, so it has been a while. They get their second hit here in the top of the 6th inning.
Royals reach the bottom of the order for the second time this evening. Ryosuke Ohashi looking for potential bunt, will be called for strike 1 on the pitch inside.
Could tell Ohashi was not a fan of that call. Squared around the bunt, pulled back, thinking it was going to miss the strike zone. Home plate umpire Justin Snively Topping ruled it a strike nonetheless. Royals understand this is going to be a very close ball game all throughout, so some small ball may be needed to come back.
Breaking ball gets down inside. What a pitch that was from Victor Payano. Had a ton of movement. Went all the way upstairs to down in the basement, catching that outside corner, Dylan.
Really, really good and pretty breaking ball from Victor Payano there.
0-2 looking for his 5th strikeout of the evening. This one fouled off hard by Ohashi to his left.
Ohashi doing a good job battling here in this at-bat, just as he did in his first trip, though he did wind up striking out against Payano the last time he came to the plate. We'll see what the outcome is here.
The 0-2 to Ohashi. Fastball getting a little bit more inside this time. Too low, though, according to the umpire.
Yeah,
Count
that
at
pitch,
1-1.
that pitch in the dirt, sorry, Ty, and Del Rosario over at first base. He thought about moving up. He took a couple of steps before Ohashi held him, and he stayed.
So good eye there from Ohashi. Going to keep himself alive. Will let that one carry well outside. Payano was looking for perhaps a chase there. Count even at 2-2.
Good fastball from Victor Payano. Did not get the chase he was looking for, Ty, but you're right. He was looking for the swing. That was not intended to get a call from the home plate umpire. Put it in a spot that he knew Ohashi couldn't hit it in hopes that he would swing.
2-2 with Del Rosario. Keeping at first. This ball will be hit. It's going to be carrying. Certainly needed a look close to staying fair there. Starling Joseph made the chase in the end. But it was a hard hit foul from Ohashi. The count still at 2 apiece.
Starling Joseph, a smile on his face after a long, long run to try to track that baseball down. It was well into foul territory, luckily for him, because he was not going to get there. If it dropped in on the line, it would have been trouble for the Majors.
2-2 with no outs for Payano so far in this sixth. Ohashi will chop one, a parachuter right towards Starling Joseph. Landed nicely in his hand. And just like that, Guelph is sat down for the first time of this series of at-bats. Ohashi 0 for 2 on the day with that flyout, but Del Rosario remains at first.
That ball not hit overly hard off the bat of Ryosuke Ohashi. Starling Joseph shaded a little bit more towards the line after the foul ball was played perfectly. Hardly had to move out there to haul that one in.
So back to the top of the order for the Royals. Brando LaRue has flown out twice and is 0 for 2 on the day. Payano takes a look over at first to Cardoso's area. Ahead of the pitch there is LaRue. Got a tick of it though and fouled it off. Settle into a very pretty evening now at Labatt Memorial Park. A very good crowd for a Friday night with no sun, Dylan. Fastball bounced all the way off the dirt, and it will be an easy stolen base for Del Rosario. Makes his way to second, and he's in scoring position.
Yeah, that'll go down as a wild pitch that allows Joseph Del Rosario to move up to second. A bit of a strange offering there from Victor Payano. It bounced probably, 5 feet in front of Eduardo De Olio. And as a catcher, you're not really used to pitches bouncing that far ahead of you, so he didn't really know how to adjust to it. And it skipped past him all the way to the backstop, which allows Del Rosario to get himself into scoring position here for the top of the Royals order.
Payano's been so technically sound throughout the course of this one. Perhaps getting a little bit tired as the game's progressing. That fastball was high and inside. It's going to carry back for a little bit of a run here for Drew Lawrence. Makes the catch in the end. And a good throw in time to Ty Mosher will not force a run over to third from Del Rosario. So 2 down for the Majors.
Good play there by Drew Lawrence out in center field. You mentioned a bit of a run hit pretty hard off the bat of Brando LaRue out to deep center field. Lawrence able to track it down there for a big second out.
Connor Morrow DHing today, also 0 for 2. He steps back in as a man in scoring position if they're able to do anything. If they were able to clear the bases here, including Morrow, they'd still be down by 1. Desperately need some hits as the game progresses. Guelph only has 2 hits so far in this one, as this is chopped directly back to Victor Payano over to Cardoso. And just like that, the Majors retire the side, leaving a man on second base. Very good job from Victor Payano, staying strong again. Forces Morrow to 0-3 on the day with 2 groundouts. And we're going to throw down to an interview pre-recorded before this one. Our very own Justin Koehler sat down with the shortstop today, Ty Mosher.
So I'm here with London Major Tyler Mosher. Right off the bat, how's your day going so far?
It's pretty good. Can't complain so far. Get to play a ball game on a Friday night. So.
It's the same answer that Roop always gives for that same question. So right off the bat, for those who don't really know, you are kind of a local in the area. You grew up just over in Dutton. You played a bit in St. Thomas. So how is it getting to play so close to home here in London and having some family and friends being able to come out to the ball game on kind of a consistent basis as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting. Obviously, playing school ball in the States, family couldn't make it all the time. So having the comfortability of having them show up and being able to watch for a change has been something I've looked forward to, and I'm glad I get a chance to do it.
Which is kind of cool because usually it's a little bit the opposite. Like the parents come out for kind of those early school years, and then it flip-flops as the careers go on. So that's actually really cool. And so you just joined the team in the offseason, but since then you've actually been red hot, and you're batting nearly .370 on the season too. How would you kind of go about evaluating your own performance so far in the campaign?
I mean, coming back from school, obviously I'm just looking to make an immediate impact as much as I can. Joining a good group of guys and a good competitive team. I'm not expecting to play every day with the lineup we have. So whenever my name's called, I'm just looking to do what I can to help out.
Great mindset. So many players on the team have that kind of humble mindset a little bit. I love to hear it. And last question for you, little kind of a fun one. The All-Star Showdown is coming up, as kind of everyone at home knows by now. Fun question for you. Who is someone on the team that you would like to see in that All-Star Showdown?
I feel like a go-to answer's got to be Cleveland. Local legend around here, and be pretty cool to see him playing in the game again.
Love that. It's hard not to just associate Cleveland with the Majors at this point. It's kind of synonymous with each other. So anyways, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. And let's send it back up to Ty and Dylan in the Game Day London press box to continue with the rest of the game.
Thank you so much for that. Ty Mosher with our very own Justin Koehler as we check back in for the bottom of the 6th inning. Obviously, Nelson Mercado back on the mound now in relief for Reese Montgomery. Let's talk a little bit about Victor Payano. Fairly respectable pitch count for his through his first 6, though.
Yeah, Victor Payano only at 73 pitches through 6 innings of work. He's been tremendously efficient so far. Got that 1-pitch ground out to end the 6th inning. Has only allowed 2 hits up to this point. He's been phenomenal.
Victor Plaz, a single and a walk in this game, has reached base every at-bat. He's done a fantastic job so far tonight for the Majors. He'll be leading things off, followed by Caden Cardoso and Cleveland Brownlee. And important to mention, I think, Dylan, Victor Payano still on the mound for the Majors. We have not seen any action in their bullpen.
I'd be shocked if Victor Payano does not come out for the 7th inning. I'd frankly be concerned if Victor Payano does not come out for the 7th inning for the Majors. Only at 73 pitches, have not seen a single throw out in the bullpen.
Starting to see even the pitchers becoming further and further reliable for the Majors lineup. Obviously mentioned Travis Keys in that 1-0 game versus Guelph. He pitched the entire game for the Majors side. And of course they want that, the Majors. They don't want to go deep into their bullpen, especially when they have 3 games coming up in a span of 3 or 4 days. So they have to be careful, and longevity is certainly a key to becoming a successful baseball team.
Absolutely it is, and 3-4 this weekend. They've got some tough tests. They've got Guelph tonight, who's obviously a very tough test, then Toronto's big offense at the pits on Sunday, and Barrie in town on Monday.
Victor Plaz is going to hit one directly over to the shortstop, but the throw is way over the head of Josh Garton, and safely in at first is Victor Plaz. A bit of a wild throw, but he has reached base 3 times today, Dylan.
Yeah, that's going to be an error on Brando LaRue that allows Victor Plaz to reach. So that one won't count towards Plaz's on-base percentage, but he's on the base nonetheless for the Majors. They'll take it. A long throw for Brando LaRue. He kind of just planted over at shortstop and tried to fire it as hard as he could to first base. May have taken 1 step, but airmailed Josh Garton, and Josh Garton's a big man over at first. He just couldn't come down with it.
So Caden Cardoso steps back in, making it a 17-game hit streak in his last at-bat. If that's not top of the Intercounty Baseball League, I'd be impressed.
I think it is.
Cardoso takes a hack at this one. It's going to fly well foul behind him. Count of 1 apiece.
Speaking of streaks, Ty, I want to congratulate Starling Joseph, who on Tuesday night reached 100 consecutive games in the Intercounty Baseball League. He joined the Majors in 2022, and since the beginning of that season up until today, he has not missed a single game, a single regular season game. I don't think he's missed a playoff game either. 101 now, straight played by Starling Joseph.
Very impressive.
That is the longest active streak in the IBL, by the way.
There you go. Confirmed the longest streak in the IBL. So congratulations to Starling Joseph. Majors certainly need him to continue that streak if they want to be a strong contender this year. A pitch once again gets behind Del Rosario, and it looks like third base will be taken in the end by Victor Plaz. Plaz reaching third off a bit of a wild sequence at home plate, and he's in scoring position.
We'll see how they rule that on the official scoring. You could make the case that's a stolen base, and then he moves up on the wild pitch because he was running to second. You could also make the case that's a 2-base wild pitch that allows Plaz to move up. Just quickly want to mention a big thank you to Game Day London for that stat on Starling Joseph. I saw it in one of their stories a couple of weeks ago, and I've been tracking it ever since. So now Joseph at a 100-game streak.
This ball well inside of Cardoso. Count moves to full, 3-2. with Victor Plaz in scoring position. Majors still lead 3-0. No outs so far. Cardoso will take a hack at this one. Fouls it off, keeps himself alive. So no outs in the bottom of the 6th. Plaz sitting patiently on third. Definitely has a hot foot about him, though. Wants to get home. The full count to Cardoso. Fastball will be swung on, and it's going to reach down to score. Victor Plaz. Very deservingly so, I might add. Having a fantastic game, 2 singles and a walk. He's been doing fantastic. Cardoso, his 2nd hit of the game, and it's going to be an RBI single for Caden.
Really good piece of hitting there by Caden Cardoso. Full count pitches on the outside part of the plate, and Cardoso went with it out to left field. A hard liner in front of the left fielder, Mark Nellis, and because Plaz was able to move up thanks to the aggressive base running for the Majors, that stolen base in the wild pitch, scores with ease.
Caden Cardoso looking to also steal a base for himself. He'll get there in time. Safely at second, a plethora of stolen bases in this one.
Cardoso's been itching to steal a base as of late, not just in today's game, but earlier on he had a great jump and he really wanted that stolen base before it was a foul ball. On the season, Cardoso has 2 steals, make it 3 after the last one.
So Nelson Mercado in a pickle here for the Royals. Scores at 4-0 right now for London. No outs as Cleveland Brownlee's going to put a deep drive into left field. It's going to get around for Caden Cardoso to score at home. And finally, a long-awaited RBI single for the man, Cleveland Brownlee.
Brownlee put a pretty good charge into that one down the left field line for the Majors to plate London's 5th run of the ball game. Brownlee hit a ball pretty deep during the Pack the Park game against the Hamilton Cardinals. That one sent a long ways as well, but because the left fielder, Mark Nellis, is playing back, Brownlee not able to stretch that into a double. So it's a long single in the books for Cleveland, but he'll certainly take it, driving home a run, and now getting lifted for a pinch runner in the form of Brad Verhoeven.
So as you mentioned, Verhoeven at first, and that must feel really good for Cleveland Brownlee. Dylan, as we mentioned, struggling a little bit at the plate, waiting for his pitch. He got unlucky during his last at bat as it was hit directly to the second baseman. As this throw gets past Verhoeven, he will take second base regardless because he was interfered with by Josh Garton. So the Majors really pouring it on here in this 6th inning, leading 5-0, no outs. And now Verhoeven's at second.
Bit of a collision there between Garton and Verhoeven. The first base umpire made the call for interference, but it's important that Verhoeven actually ran to second base.
Yes.
Because if Verhoeven stayed at first, we saw this with the Blue Jays earlier this year, I believe. If Verhoeven stayed at first after the collision, interference doesn't matter, and he's stuck there.
Mercado is going to nail Drew Lawrence, and that's got to hurt. One straight to the hand, as obviously it was not intentional.
Lawrence is in some pain, though, here, Ty.
Yeah, that is not good for Drew Lawrence and the Majors. Hopefully he will be okay. Is definitely pulsating now. A stinger taken to that. I believe it looks like the hand.
He's holding that left hand, and we hope he's all right because he's been having really a fantastic year, batting .346 coming into the ball game today. 6 walks to 4 strikeouts. He's going to be taken out of this contest, and we'll see who comes in for him because the Majors are a little banged up at the moment, but not what you want to see for Drew Lawrence, and we hope he's all right.
Walking it off like a champ, though, it looks like, and hopefully he will be okay. That means another Major will reach base. We'll see who that is momentarily.
Tommy Reyes-Cruz, I believe, coming on to run here.
I think you are right. It looks like Reyes-Cruz, it is, makes his way over to first, so the Majors have 2 on with no outs. Reyes-Cruz at first and Verhoeven at second.
Possible the Majors manager, Rube Chanada, was hoping to save Reyes-Cruz for another opportunity where he could pinch hit for the Majors. Instead, he has to run for Drew Lawrence, who is going to be out of commission for the next little while after taking that fastball off the hand.
So Ty Mosher checks back in. He's had himself a day, scoring 2 runs for the Majors. Had a double in his second at bat and walked in his last. Really appears that the game is blown wide open, Dylan.
You know what? With this Guelph Royals offense, a 5-run lead is not that big of a cushion.
Yeah.
You'd like to keep adding on. If you're the Majors and you're in a good spot to do it, 2 on and nobody out.
Fastball high and outside. Pump fake by Rosario back to first. No throw in the end. And it looks like Mercado will get talked to here by Dino Rumel. No action in the bullpen. He's going to stay out there, but definitely a tough situation.
Yeah, Mercado has not been particularly close to the plate since that Brownlee line drive single. Obviously, that pitch that went up and in to Drew Lawrence and hit him on the hand. Then 2 pitches in pretty much the exact same spot as the one that hit Lawrence to Ty Mosher, up and away, and big time up and away. Not close pitches that just missed the strike zone. These were way off the plate, outside and high. And so Dino Rumel knows he's got a young arm out there on the mound trying to calm him down.
Young arm, as you mentioned, Dylan, and when you were introducing him, you talked about how this is his first appearance on the rubber this season for the Guelph Royals, and a bit of a tough situation for him to be put in, facing the potent bats of the London Majors, and they're making him pay. Mercado fastball, a bit more under control, but still outside. Counted 3-0 to Mosher, potential to load the bases.
Yeah, that one much closer than the last couple of offerings, but when you're missing like Mercado is right now, you're not going to get any favors from the home plate umpire.
Ball 4 chance coming down. Fastball high and upstairs for ball 4. Ty Mosher back-to-back walks. The bases are loaded for the London Majors. And up steps Gibson Krasminski.
Big spot here for Gibson Krasminski, who's 1 for 2 on the day, has flown out, doubled, and had a sacrifice bunt. Majors would certainly take a double here. It might clear the bases with the speed that the Majors have out there right now. I think Dino Rumel trying to get something going in his bullpen for the Guelph Royals. Mercado's really struggled to find the zone, as mentioned, over this last stretch. Still has yet to record an out in this 6th inning. Worth mentioning, Ty.
I was just going to say that. Bit of a nightmare scenario here from Mercado. Bases loaded, no outs, and nowhere to hide. Another ball is outside.
6 straight, Ty, that have missed the strike zone for Mercado, going back to that Lawrence hit by pitch, and they've all kind of missed in the exact same spot.
Reyes Cruz at third, Verhoeven at second, Mosher at first, and finally a recorded strike low and outside from a fastball delivered by Mercado.
Yeah, Mercado finally able to find the strike zone there, gets a nice pitch on the outside corner.
Krasminski, if you recall, had that sac bunt his last at bat to advance the runners, and also really opened the scoring with an RBI double. Let's see if he can really burst it open with this at bat. The displeasure of the London faithful. Mercado's going to take a step back, an extra second. The 1-1 to Krasminski. Outside fastball. Count at 2-1 now. Krasminski in no rush whatsoever, playing it rather patiently, Dylan. And it looks like Del Rosario is going to have a chat with him.
Yeah, now Del Rosario did say something to the home plate umpire, Justin Snively-Topping, who accompanies him out to the mound. So perhaps they want to discuss signs or something with the mound or an injury perhaps for Mercado, because I believe that Del Rosario is trying to avoid getting this charged as a mound visit. We'll see what the home plate umpire, Justin Snively-Topping, rules. He says no mound visit, so maybe signs, maybe something with the dirt or Mercado's comfort level out there that results in this not being charged, the Guelph Royals, as a mound visit.
We do have a member of the Guelph Royals warming up in the bullpen. I'll get a name for you shortly if we can. But meanwhile, Mercado's still got a mess to work himself out of. Krasminski takes a hard hack at that one. Count even at 2 apiece.
That is Ben Reed loosening up in the Guelph Royals bullpen and trying to get loose in a hurry here for Guelph as Mercado struggled to find the strike zone. And like we've mentioned, nobody out and the bases loaded.
2-2 would be a vital time for a strikeout here. Behalf of Mercado has not recorded one yet. 2-2 is well inside. Count moves to full. And a good at-bat from Gibson Krasminski.
Yeah, Krasminski's done a good job of working this count. Took that pitch inside, was able to dodge it, and now has a chance to walk in a run.
The full that Krasminski swung on, and the first strikeout for Mercado at a big time. Sits down Gibson Krasminski while on a full count. Impressive, good job composing himself a little bit, but he's still got a lot to work himself out of. 2 outs are needed, and the base is still loaded.
This allows a little bit more flexibility for the Guelph Royals defense, as the middle can now back up and try to turn 2 at second base, while Garden and the third baseman Mosseni will stay in, trying to shoot for an out at the plate. But a big first out there for Mercado. A good high fastball tempted Krasminski, and he came up empty on the swing.
Starling Joseph continues to have a big opportunity here. It's hammered right up to second base. Brad Verhoeven will score. Tommy Reyes Cruz in to score, and an RBI double for Starling Joseph increases the Majors lead 7-0.
Joseph chopped that one right back through the middle. Mercado couldn't come up with it, and it was through into center field. So Joseph pushes across 2 more runs in this inning for the Majors. It's been a tough one for Mercado here in the bottom of the 6th. He's at 34 pitches through an inning of work now, dating back to the previous inning. He's thrown a lot of bullets and still trying to get out of this frame.
2 RBI single from Starling Joseph has blown this game wide open. Eduardo DeOlio 0 for 3 on the day. Little uncharacteristic from him, but he is in a favorable position. Starling Joseph on first, Ty Mosher on second, as that's called for a strike. And still only 1 out here for Mercado and the Royals.
A little overeager at the plate right now is DeOlio. That's 2 straight at-bats. We're on the first pitch of the AB. His head has come flying way off on a swing. Wants to do a lot of damage at the plate right now, coming up empty, and then he chases the pitch that was in the dirt.
0-2 for DeOlio. The offering from Mercado, fastball, high and inside. Mercado's going to point up to the sky, so Garton can make the run over, and DeOlio is sat down. Another fly, he's 0 for 4 on the day.
So 2 out now in this inning. Good play by Josh Garton. That's a tough play for a first baseman because Garton was playing behind the runner at first and Starling Joseph, meaning he had to dodge Joseph on his way to go catch that baseball. Infield fly was in effect, and it results in the second out.
So Byron Reichstein, also a player 0 for 3 today. He checks back in. Again, uncharacteristic of him as well. But he has 2 men on base to work with. Takes a first swing hack at this one. Going to carry into an ambiguous area. Nonetheless, will be called off by Brando LaRue to eventually tire the Majors side. But they add 4 runs to their tally in this 6th inning of play. Leading 7-0 now. Commanding lead over the Guelph Royals, but they certainly have the potent bats to crawl back into this one. When we come back, Andy Leader followed by Josh Garton and J.D. Williams, some of the best hitters in the heart of the Royals order. Up to plate, Ty Wade alongside Dylan Baker will be taking over play-by-play duties. When we come back, you're watching Majors TV.
We'll be on the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph, crush it!
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
13 inches, part of the hide. Got the suede on the side, broken in good, so and I got the gold on it now. pretty amazing, pretty special, yeah. I've always wanted one of these, so hopefully I can get a lot more in my future. The defense doesn't slump. It doesn't come and go like offense. You know, if you lock it in mentally, it's going to be there for as long as you want it to be if you stay healthy. When it breaks in nice, you want to use it for years and years and years. It's always good quality, so you can use it for years and years. I just reordered the same one.
Back here at Labatt Memorial Park, Victor Payano back out there to the mound, and after Drew Lawrence was hit by a pitch, we've got some defensive changes, so stay with us here. Tommy Reyes-Cruz remains in the ballgame in the spot of Drew Lawrence and slides to shortstop. Ty Mosher goes from shortstop to second base. Gibson Krasminski goes from second base to left field, and Starling Joseph goes from left field to center field. Hope you've got all that. That's how the Majors line up on defense now for the top of the seventh as Payano heads out there with 73 pitches under his belt.
Definitely some adaptations to this Majors lineup. Perhaps unexpected, obviously, the freak accident off the pitch to Drew Lawrence's hand. At the end of the day causes some stir around the Majors lineup. Tommy Reyes-Cruz, who I don't think was expected to make an appearance in this game, Dylan, in his favorable spot at shortstop where he typically is this Majors lineup. Starling very used to center field, and obviously Krasminski in left, something also familiar, and Ty Mosher has played second many times before for the Majors, so a lot of players in capable positions here as the Majors change things up.
First pitch fouled straight back to the backstop by Andy Leader, who is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts on the day. Oh, a firework just went off beyond the Majors scoreboard.
Yeah, we have a couple fireworks going off, Dylan. A premature Canada Day celebration.
Yeah, I don't think that's allowed back there, as that one will miss for ball one. I wonder if they're going to pause play here, because that could be, as you get a look at them on your screen, that could be a distraction for the batter Leader.
And there are the umpires did look over there, but they're not going to call anything off just yet.
1-1's high. It's 2-1 to Leader. I did see a police officer at the ball game earlier. Perhaps they're going to send that officer out there to rein in the fireworks, but they seem to have died down.
Would be a good time.
2-1. Here's the pitch to Leader. Line straight back of the screen. So 2-2 the count.
You know, Dylan, this is a perfect segue to talk about Canada Day
here
at the ballpark. It's coming up July 1st. We'll have the call for you versus the Barrie Baycats, 6:05 p.m. and definitely a very much fan favorite. Another kind of pack the park scenario. So many fans are here. The Bat Memorial expecting close to a sellout.
Breaking ball, swing and a miss, strike three. So Payano set down Andy Leader 3 times in the ball game today, and there's one gone at the top of the 7th.
Yeah, tough for Andy Leader. 3 strikeouts back to back to back at the grueling hands of Victor Payano. 5 strikeouts. He's red hot in this one. Is just making a mockery of the Royals lineup so far. What a great job he's done. And back to Canada Day a little bit. We also have, as I mentioned, premature fireworks, but there should be some real fireworks from the town of London. Should be a good time for all in attendance here, and we encourage you to come join us as tickets are still available on the London Majors website.
First pitch is popped foul by Josh Garton for strike one. Yes, always a very good crowd for Canada Day, and we expect the same thing this year.
Definitely do, and shortly after that on July 5th, the 3rd annual Shake Day is in support of the Baker Center for pancreatic cancer. What a great cause. Supported by Equals Brewing, so it should be another great game at the ballpark. That is against the Brantford Red Sox on July 5th.
That went in there for a strike. Ty, I'll be honest with you, I don't remember the first 2 annual Shake Days, but I'm excited for the 3rd annual Shake Day. 0-2 count here on Garton. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
And
back-to-back strikeouts for Victor Payano.
Back-to-back strikeouts indeed, Dylan, but not only that, back-to-back strikeouts against Josh Garton as well. He's retired both Leader and Garton on back-to-back strikeouts, so he's done a really phenomenal job. And as we mentioned, Garton, really one of the hottest hitters all across the Intercounty Baseball League so far, so he's having a good game against him.
So this was a tough spot in the order for Payano in the 7th inning. 3, 4, and 5. Leader, Garten, and Williams. He set down Leader and Garten via the strikeout. We'll see what he can do against J.D. Williams.
Williams is a single recorded in this one, and he grounded out in his last at bat.
Here's the pitch from Payano. That one misses high for ball 1.
It's an easy, very easy read there in the end for an experienced hitter like J.D. Williams. Just that close to his face. Was going to leave it the whole way along.
1-0 count here. The offering on its way. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And I like that. What a fantastic change of pace there from Payano. Put it in a similar position, but just added a lot more heat to that offering. And caught a big swing from J.D. Williams. Counts at 1 apiece.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out. Pitch to Williams on its way, a breaking ball. That one can't find the zone, and so it's 2-1 from Payano.
The Majors have really done a good job in this game, Dylan, of recording outs really early. It seems like the first 2 people up to bat for the Royals have continuously been outs, and has put the Majors in a ton of favorable positions as this game has progressed. And the top of the 7th is no different.
Well, Ty, I can tell you that Victor Payano has had a leadoff out in 5 of his 7 innings so far today. So he's been very, very good at that up to this point in the ball game. 1-2 count, 2 away. Here's the pitch to J.D. Williams. Breaking ball. Williams will foul that one straight back. I've got the count at 2-2 here, Ty. Payano has also had the first 2 outs of an inning 5 times in the ball game as well.
How's about that?
So when he gets the first out, he's getting the second one. 2-2, 2 out. The lefty Payano ready on the rubber. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, count runs full, we believe.
Yes.
But home plate umpire saying 2-2 as far as we can tell. So we will try again on 2-2. Here's the pitch. Misses, so now the count is at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
If Payano was able to pull this off, tough little outing here for him. J.D. Williams, a very good at-bat. It would be his 7th strikeout of the evening.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Trying to put away J.D. Williams and set down the Royals in order. Offering on its way, in the air. Foul territory. Cardoso and DeOlio both give it a look. It is well out of play. And so we'll try again on 3-2.
Not only looking to retire the side in order, but retiring the side in order via back-to-back-to-back strikeouts.
So we'll try again on the full count offering. Payano sets. Here's the payoff pitch. Strike 3! Payano strikes out the Royals in order in the top of the 7th inning as he sets down the side. It's stretch time at Labatt Park. Majors lead 7-0.
Well, what a fantastic statement performance here from Victor Payano. We talked about, Dylan, extensively of how the Majors, if they're going to be a really competitive team, especially with a playoff run, you really need 3 aces in the Intercounty Baseball League. They really have a solid one in Arias. Travis Keys has been phenomenal, and now Payano is stepping into that role at such an opportune time for the Majors lineup. We mentioned just not too long ago when they had that 7-5 victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs, he really hadn't started a game or seen much time in a game, Payano, since opening day. So the Majors have made a big turnaround for him. He's done an amazing job pitching recently and immaculate through 7.
We're going to set it down to field level for Justin Koehler and I think Cleveland Brownlee Jr.
So, gentlemen, there's plenty of exciting events coming up here to Labatt Memorial Park for the rest of the summer, and I'm here with Cleveland Brownlee's son, Cleveland Jr. And Cleveland, do you know when the next big event is coming to Labatt Memorial Park?
Yes, so the next event will be on Canada Day.
That is exactly right. It should be a whole lot of fun, a great time to celebrate the nation's birthday here at the ballpark, and a great matchup as well with the Majors currently set to play. The Barrie Baycats are coming to town as well. 2 teams who have been pretty much neck and neck for the majority of the season so far, so it should be a great matchup, whole lot of fun. And if you're here at the ballpark, be sure to stay afterward, where the city's actually going to be putting on a whole fireworks display as well, so a nice little show and some fun for everyone. Are you excited for that?
Yeah.
Perfect. And so, without further ado, let's send it back up to Ty and Dylan in the Game Day London press box. Gentlemen, it should be a whole lot of fun on Canada Day.
Justin, it's going to be great. Please tell Cleveland Jr. he did a fantastic job in introducing the Canada Day festivities on Monday. Always a good time when the Barrie Bay Cats are in town. Always a good time on Canada Day, Ty.
Fantastic time on Canada Day. And obviously we mentioned Duke Cleve, a native of Atlanta, Georgia, really loved playing in London and Canada so much that he got his Canadian citizenship, being American, so dual citizenship for him, and means a lot to his son, Canada Days, and what a time it is around Labatt Memorial Park for all the fans. Fireworks show post-game and a fantastic matchup against Barrie. Likely a battle for second place in the league during that game, Dill.
Yeah, it should be a good one between two of the top teams in the Inter-County Baseball League. Here on this Friday night, we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for the Majors. Victor Plaz, Caden Cardoso, and Brad Verhoeven, who took the place of Cleveland Brownlee as a pinch runner. The righty Nelson Mercado still working out there for the Guelph Royals. That one misses for ball one. We wondered if we'd see the end of Mercado's night because of how much he was struggling to find the zone. Not the case.
I must admit, I'm rather surprised to see him back out there on the mound at the moment because he really did struggle. The bases were loaded back-to-back times. 4 runs scored by the Majors in that 6th inning. The offense was really showing out as Victor Plaz back out now. Plaz having himself quite a day, Dylan. 2 singles for himself, a stolen base potentially to his name. We also mentioned it could have been a wild pitch. We're not sure how that was ruled.
1-1 count here to Plaz. Mercado, the right-hander, sets on the rubber. Here's the pitch in the dirt, blocked by Joseph Del Rosario. It's the count now at 2 balls and a strike. The Guelph Royals have 3 games in 3 days this weekend, so that could be a reason that they are leaving Mercado out as long as they are at the moment. Busy weekend for them.
Definitely say that's a factor to play in it because they're taking on Kitchener and Hastings Stadium as well as the Cardinals and Brantford on Canada.
So they got a 4-4 this weekend, Tom.
Yeah.
Not just a 3-3. They got a 4-4. It's a busy time for them.
Extremely busy. Not many days off, and then right after July 1st, only a couple days rest, and they play the 5th, 6th, 7th, 9th, 11th, 12th. So many games coming up in the IBL.
There absolutely are. So that's probably why Nelson Mercado is still out there on the mound, because the Guelph Royals need him to eat some innings at the moment. And ideally pitch the rest of this ball game, so they only have to use 2 pitchers tonight with the games they've got ahead. That one's off the plate outside the Plaz.
That really would be the ideal scenario if you're the Guelph Royals. It's about damage control right now. Obviously, you do have the capability to score 7 runs over the next 3 innings. Really difficult task, though. Easier said than done, especially against a red-hot Victor Payano. But if Mercado's able to do his job as he just retires Victor Plaz there for his 2nd strikeout of the evening, they'll do a world of favors to the lineup. Obviously, Guelph has some fantastic pitching, but the bullpen doesn't run extremely deep. The biggest name coming out of there, Jacob Cush, leading all the IBL with a 1.88 ERA. Very impressive.
Caden Cardoso into the batter's box here with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cardoso is 2 for 3 on the day, has driven in a run as well on the evening. Mercado at 44 pitches. Cardoso into the night sky, and that baseball is long gone. A solo home run for Caden Cardoso. And the Majors extend their lead. It is 8-0.
Well, how's about that from the man, Caden Cardoso, on the night where he extends his hitting streak to an IBL best 17. Goes deep, long due, Dylan, the first time since the beginning of the season for Caden Cardoso. He's been sitting at 3 home runs for a long, long time. Finally gets that 4th and crawls within top 7 now for home runs in the IBL. Big performance from him. That's 3 for 4 on the evening for Cardoso.
So Brad Verhoeven in the batter's box for his first at-bat of the day. He took over as a pinch runner for Cleveland Brownlee after Brownlee's RBI single. Oh, 1 count here to Verhoeven. The right-hander Mercado sets. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, blocked by Del Rosario.
Ain't nothing now, Dylan. This game is really getting out of hand in favor of the Majors. Mercado's got to just calm down. I mean, it really can't get much worse than this. So he has nothing to lose on the mound right now.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Verhoeven, Verhoeven hitting .273 on the season. That's 5 runs batted in. 6 for 22 across 11 games. Primarily a catcher, Verhoeven can kind of play anywhere. Plays all over the infield, plays in corner outfield as well. So a very versatile player for Majors manager Rup Chanadad. He sends this one in the air, just past the cut of the grass in the infield. Brando LaRue, the shortstop, hauls it in, and there's 2 gone now in the bottom of the 7th.
Verhoeven, a player who has been called on plenty of times to fill in for different roles, as you mentioned, a very versatile player for the Majors roster. So valuable for their team, like a Swiss Army knife, can really just put him in anywhere at any time, and he can certainly make an impact for your squad, but he flies out there on a Mercado pitch that he's really starting to get a bit more under control.
So Tommy Reyes-Cruz for his first plate appearance tonight. These were the 2 guys that came into the lineup for the Majors as Reyes-Cruz gives this baseball a long ride to right field, drifting over Leader, and it hooks just foul.
Yeah, Leader was going to make a long run there, but as we all heard, a couple oohs and ahs from the crowd, that one was absolutely walloped down that first base line, carrying into deep right field. Went foul, but definitely gave a bit of notice to Andy Leader, who did make the run.
So 0-1 count here to Tommy Reyes-Cruz. Mercado up at 50 pitches through 2 1/3. That one misses, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Ready on the rubber, Mercado. Here's the pitch. Misses, 2-1.
Reyes-Cruz, a player that we didn't anticipate to see in this game, Dylan, of course, with the incident that happened to Drew Lawrence, but he steps into shortstop, one of the best shortstops in all the Intercounty Baseball League, up there in all-star voting. Definitely a potent at bat when he wants to be.
Reyes-Cruz sends that one towards the parking lot as I wince in fear of my car up here. I don't think it had the distance to get me all the way back at the end of the parking lot, but you never know. You're always scared. 2-2 count here to the Majors shortstop. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Reyes-Cruz down on strikes to Mercado, and that'll do it for the bottom of the 7th. But the Majors, on the strength of a solo home run from Caden Cardoso, extend their lead. It is 8-0 after 7.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
The best of the Intercounty Baseball League descend on the Rose City on July 20th as the 2023 Dominico Cup champion Welland Jackfish and Welland Stadium host the 2024 Intercounty Baseball League All-Star Showdown and Home Run Derby. For ticket information, visit wellandjackfish.com/all-star or call 905-735-9834. Welland Jackfish Baseball. Fans first, fun always. Get hooked.
When you need a night out, Throw London is on point. With an atmosphere that's a cut above, Throw London brings together the best in knife throwing, axe throwing, and darts. So it's the perfect spot for a date night, night out with friends, leagues, and team building for the office. You've got to be 13 or older to throw pointy objects and 19 plus to enjoy their fully licensed offerings. It's the best spot in London for some fun with an edge. London's original knife throwing. Check them out at 2190 Dundas Street East and online at ithrow.ca. That's ITHROW.ca.
Back here at Labatt Park as Sweet Caroline blares over the loudspeakers and a new arm comes into the ball game. Ty, it's a pitching change, and it's brought to you by Throw London, London's original knife throwing.
Native of Maidstone, Ontario, steps in Skylar Janice. 1-0 on the season's had a few appearances in 4 games. It's a 3 ERA over 6 innings pitched, and a very, very good arm in relief for the Majors. But let's talk briefly about that outing from Victor Payano. I mean, he was just absolutely fantastic, really on his stuff tonight. Pitched 7 solid innings for the London Majors, recording 7 strikeouts as well. So, I mean, he really did a bit of everything tonight and was extremely on point and has shown us to be such a reliable arm for this Major side and a pretty amazing starting pitcher.
Pinch hitter into the ball game here for the Guelph Royals. I believe that is Ethan Hammond. Just looking to confirm. Excuse me, that is Ashton Patterson taking over. First pitch to Patterson is in there for a strike. Now he's behind 0-2 to Janice.
And also talking about Payano, you know, it was very much expected that he would step into a consistent starter role, and he's very much lived up to that expectation as the season has moved on, and I'm sure Roop Chanderdat and Brent Wales are over the moon with his recent performances.
Patterson late on that one, fouls it off. 0-2 will remain the count as Daniel Gore gets loose in the Majors bullpen. Patterson, the lefty, ready. Here's the pitch. On the ground, right back to the mound. Skylar Janice runs it over to the bag, and he'll flip it to Cardoso for the first out at the top of the 8th inning.
Good start, decent pitches so far from Skylar Janice. Just working the plate a little bit and was able to get the better there of Patterson checking into the game for the first time. Pretty easy first out for the Majors. Everything staying calm, and they continue to lead by 8.
So Keon Mossani into the ball game, or pardon me, a pinch hitter into the ball game, I should say. Royals are emptying the bench here in the late going. That one will miss for ball 1. Nope, I apologize. That is Keon Mossani. I had him as the wrong number on my score sheet, which is why it confused me. Mossani is ahead in the count, 1-0.
Which is why we blame the score sheet.
Absolutely. Certainly not the user of the score sheet who could have changed that but did not. 2-0 the count here on Mossani.
We've had a lot on our hands tonight, Dylan. As we mentioned, Majors moving all over the place defensively, but we picked that up pretty nicely, and you delivered it perfectly for everyone at home.
Thank you. 2-1 count here on Mossani, who in the ball game today is 0-2. A pop out to third and a ground out to first. Mossani facing the 6'4", 220 Skylar Janice. That one misses, so Mossani ahead of the count, 3 balls and a strike.
Janice has a unique fastball, as you can see that delivery. Just puts all his weight over the top of his shoulders. He comes down with it. The foot came off the plate. Bit harshly there at the end, but he's got a good delivery. 6'4", as you mentioned.
That one fouled off, and so the count now at 3 balls and 2 strikes. To Mossani. Janice has done a good job battling back in this count, trying to put away the third baseman for the Royals. Right-hander kicks and deals. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A strikeout for Skylar Janice, and there's 2 gone in the top of the 8th.
And that was really good delivery there by Skylar Janice. Stayed calm through that entire sequence from Mossani's at-bat. Records his first strikeout of the evening and is doing a great job in relief so far for the Majors. 2 down for them, 1 to go.
Joseph Del Rosario now into the batter's box here for the Guelph Royals. Del Rosario is 1 for 2 on the day. Had the second and latest hit, I should say, for the Guelph Royals. That came back in the 6th inning. Their only other hit was back in the second off the bat of Josh Garton. Here's the 0-1 in the dirt. DeOlio pops up and scoops it. 1-1.
And certainly that is something of major concern, I'd say, to this Guelph Royals side, Dylan, because if you combine it over their last 3 games now, that's a combined, I believe, only 10 hits over the last 3 games, 8 in their last 2. So definitely something to work on moving forward, because they're a team that is not used to being this far behind offensively, and they really have to get back in the swing of things, of course, because it's such a close race between those top 4 teams. You have Welland, the Majors, Barrie, and, of course, Guelph.
Royals trying to figure out their offensive struggles. We'd love to see some signs of life late in this ball game, as that one's fouled off by Del Rosario. You mentioned it just now. You mentioned it in the pregame show. They had 3 hits against the Majors last weekend in the 1-0 win, where Travis Keys was fantastic for the Majors, and Kyle Thomas and Jacob Cush were great for the Guelph Royals. Then only 5 in the losing effort to Kitchener on Sunday, and so far just 2 against Payano and Janice combined. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Del Rosario on the ground to second base. Charging Ty Mosher. He'll throw on to Cardoso at first, and we are through 7.5 here from Labatt Park. Majors continuing to lead by a score of 8-0.
So we talk a little bit now about Guelph. We're talking about the offensive struggles on their behalf, and one thing also that's not the most promising for them is that they've faced 2 aces on the Majors side, Victor Payano and Travis Keys previously, and they did not put up good offensive performances whatsoever against 2 really good arms. So when it gets down into the really clutch moments later in the season, that could be a problem. So they need to get a bit more consistent and really learn from their mistakes early on. But if they do have something that looks favorable on the schedule, is they do have not the toughest games coming up, facing Kitchener, Hamilton, and Brantford, 2 teams, a lot of teams outside of the top 4. So good opportunity for them to get some games back.
3 of their next 4 games are against the Hamilton Cardinals here, Ty. So they're going to see, 3 of 4 after the game in Kitchener tomorrow will be against the Hamilton Cardinals.
Correct. So a similar stint to the Majors like they had against Chatham Kent.
Yes.
And they definitely took advantage of that series. So the Majors, good opportunity for, the Royals, good opportunity for them against Hamilton.
We've got a new arm into the ball game for the Guelph Royals. This is a pitching change brought to you by Throw London, London's original knife thrower.
Hey there, my name's Will. I'm the owner of Throw London. This is some of the staff that helps us out here from day to day to keep things moving. We have other people that work with this too. They're not here today, and we'd like to thank them for helping us and helping you. If you're not sure what you'd like to throw, an axe or a knife, we can take care of that for you. We throw the axes, knives, we have darts, shovels. You don't need to do anything. You don't need any experience whatsoever. We'll take care of that as well. If you happen to win a league and you have that competitive side, you get your name on this League of Legends wall, which is amazing. If you like to have a cold beverage, we can serve that for you as well. So when you're thinking about doing next event, friends, family, corporation, or just a hangout, come on and think about Throw London.
New arm into the ball game here for the Guelph Royals. Ty, as this pitching change is brought to you by Throw London, London's original knife throwing. It is Ben Reed.
Ben Reed, native of Montreal, Quebec, and he's been a Guelph Royal since 2014, Dylan. He's had a lot of different stints with the teams over the years, most recently 2023 posting a 2.32 ERA over 12 games played, 1 save, and over 19 innings pitched with 18 strikeouts back in 2023, I believe. It's his first appearance the 2024 season by our calculations, Dylan. And he's coming in a big relief effort here and really just trying to keep the damage under control.
Reed trying to push this ball game into the 9th inning with the deficit remaining where it's at, as that one's fouled off by Mosher. It's 0-1. We may see the Majors number 11 get into the ball game in the 9th inning, as Daniel Gore's been loosening up for the last couple of batters, dating back to the top of the 8th.
And that's really solid from London in the end of the day. If you're able to just keep it within 3 pitchers or less for the entirety of the game, they've done a great job. And that's all kudos to Victor Payano, posting an incredible performance on the rubber today.
Majors have the benefit of an off day tomorrow before heading to Toronto on Sunday, as that pitch will miss high, and it is 2 balls and 1 strike. So Majors can have Janice and Gore, if they each work an inning, rest and probably be available on Sunday in Toronto. 2-1 count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Ty Mosher having a great day. 2 walks his last at bat and a double as well. And give a special shout out here to another NHL draft pick selected by the Boston Bruins, a friend of mine, Dean Letourneau, out of St. Andrews College, my alma mater in high school, participated in a documentary, Oh When the Saints, this past year for my crew at Toronto Metropolitan University, TBJG Productions. So that was a very, very good pick close to home, although unfortunately it is to Boston.
That one line straight back at the screen. Big congratulations to Dean. Ty, I'm sure, as you mentioned there, you would have preferred he go to a different team as a Leafs fan, but pretty exciting for Dean.
Very exciting indeed, and very proud of you, Dean. Congratulations, brother.
2-2 count here to Ty Mosher at the top of the Majors order in this ball game. Here's the offering on its way. That's upstairs, and the count now runs full. Ben Reed pitching to Mosher, who is 1 for 2 on the day. Reed trying not to lose him. Mosher's already walked twice in the ball game, make it 3 times as he takes ball 4. And he's aboard to lead off the bottom of the 8th.
Great job by Ty Mosher, reaching base once again. He's had a tremendous performance today. Lots of players in the conversation for player of the game in this one, Dylan. So many majors have made a big impact. So you mentioned that has really carried over from that 4-3 victory over Chatham-Kent. 7 different majors recording hit in this one. So many different majors on the board today, particularly fantastic performances from Ty Mosher, Caden Cardoso, Victor Plaz, and obviously on the mound by Victor Payano.
First pitch will miss for a ball to Gibson Krasminski. Really across the board, lots of good performances by the London Majors. Krasminski is 1 for 3 on the day. Has a 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
And a little bit opposite to the London Majors. Obviously, Victor Payano has had no problem recording those early outs on the first and second at-bat of sequences, but it's been quite the opposite for the Guelph Royals. Having a really tough time of recording those early outs in their pitching performances, and that's a real reason London has felt comfortable at the plate, giving themselves so many opportunities to strike in not very much high-pressure situations, and they've taken advantage of plenty of them throughout this. That's why they're leading 8-0.
2-1 count here to Gibson Krasminski in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ty Mosher stands over at first base, not being held on by Josh Garten at this stage of the ball game. Krasminski gives that one a pretty good ride, but it's hit about a mile foul, so count now at 2-2. Krasminski battles here in a 2-2 count, trying to avoid his second strikeout of the night. A fly out, a double, a sacrifice bunt, and a strikeout swing in his 4 trips. Here's the offering. Upstairs, ball 3. So Reed now in danger of walking a second consecutive batter as Krasminski has a full count just as Mosher did. (3-2). Mosher the lead off of first. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Krasminski down on strikes. Reed battles back, and there's one gone now in the bottom of the 8th for Starling Joseph.
Yeah, good showing by Ben Reed there, despite his team being down and very much out in this one so far. I mean, he's had a pretty good performance since coming in right at this moment, and a good strikeout there. Tough, as you mentioned, battled himself back into that one and ended up recording the out. A strikeout, his first of the evening against Gibson Krasminski.
So Starling Joseph into the batter's box as mentioned, 1 for 3 on the day, trying to get into the hit column for a second time with Mosher standing over at first. Here's the pitch. In there, just off the plate for ball 1. (1-0) count, 1 out. Mosher not going anywhere over at first. Swing and a miss by Joseph, and it's 1-1. Joseph so far in the ball game. A line out to third, a ground out, a walk, and a single to center, which plated a pair in his last trip, coming back in the 6th inning when the Majors really put a crooked number on the board with 4 runs. 1-1 is upstairs to Joseph, 2-1.
There's already been one hit by pitch. That one was close to being another one there. As we move later into this game, and London really trying to close things out. Joseph obviously had that 2 RBI single in his last at bat, following a walk, and he's really had a fantastic start performance as well.
2 balls, 2 strikes now to Joseph, as Reed tries to make it back-to-back strikeouts. Joseph with the back pocket hanging out, digs into the right-handed batter's box. Here's the pitch. In the air, on the infield. Charging in is Josh Garton, the first baseman. He's got it. Gives a couple of looks over to the bag. Ty Mosher, 2 gone now in the 8th.
Say what you will about Josh Garton, but he's an entertaining soul over there, still showing a couple headaches over at first base. Such a pleasure to watch, Dylan.
I had a chance to work the 2020 Guelph Royals Home Run Derby, Ty. Josh Garton won that Home Run Derby, and that was the day that I really first encountered Josh Garton for what he is. And he is an entertainer. He is there to make people happy. He's there to make people enjoy the game of baseball. He's a great guy and a very talented ball player as well. As that one's cut on and missed by Eduardo De Olio, who is 0 for 3 today.
And I will stand by this. If the Intercounty Baseball League hosted an award ceremony for the best dress or best appearance, I'd say that Garton has to be on that list.
DeOlio sends that one in the air to right field. Moving over is Leader, gets turned around. Actually, that's a new fielder out there. Appears to be Jeff McLeod out in right field, and McLeod makes the catch to retire the side of the 8th. We head to the 9th as the Majors look to close this one out here on Majors TV.
When you need a night out, Throw London is on point. With an atmosphere that's a cut above, Throw London brings together the best in knife throwing, axe throwing, and darts. So it's the perfect spot for a date night, night out with friends, leagues, and team building for the office. You've got to be 13 or older to throw pointy objects and 19 plus to enjoy their fully licensed offerings. It's the best spot in London for some fun with an edge. London's original knife throwing. Check them out at 2190 Dundas Street East and online at ithrow.ca. That's ITHROW.ca.
New arm here for the London Majors as we head to the top of the 9th inning. As expected, Ty, this pitching change brought to you by Throw London. London's original knife throwing is Daniel Gore getting into the ballgame.
And Daniel Gore, definitely a good arm for the Majors to come into relief. Has started a few games already so far. He's appeared in 5 games, 2 of them starting in over 8 innings pitched. Unfortunately, the ERA is a little bit higher than he would like, a 10.80 ERA, 2.52 whip with 8 base on balls so far this season. Good opportunity here to close things out for London, and it's just been a near perfect performance across the board for the Major squad.
So it will be Ryosuke Ohashi, the first batter to face Daniel Gore as he tries to close this one out. Royals only have 2 hits in the ball game today, both coming against Victor Payano, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 6th. 9-1 and 2 due up. It'll be Ohashi, LaRue, and Morrow, though we may see some new faces get into the lineup for some at-bats. First pitch to Ohashi will miss for ball 1. The walks are elevated for Daniel Gore this season. You mentioned that he's got 8 of them as compared to just 9 strikeouts in 9 1/3 innings. That one lined to center field, charging in Joseph. He's not going to get there. So it's a leadoff base hit for Ryusuke Ohashi.
Ohashi's been itching for one, I should say, all game long. He's had a couple tough at-bats, struck out in his first, flew out as well against a very hot Victor Payano. Able to get on the board at least once tonight for his squad and records the 3rd hit.
Brando LaRue now into the batter's box. He's 0 for 3 today. Worth mentioning, I ran into Daniel Gore's uncle, Len, I believe was his name, and he told me he's the president of the Daniel Gore fan club.
Wow.
And that the Gore, Daniel's parents were watching from Prince Edward Island last week. Now, I don't know if they are still in Prince Edward Island. I don't know if they live out there, if they're on vacation. But
yeah.
A hello to the Gore family and to the Gore fan club as well, as the first pitch misses to Brando LaRue for ball 1.
We appreciate certainly all the love you throw this way towards the broadcast booth. Feel free to stop by anytime to say hello and leave your comments in the YouTube comments section. Always a pleasure having you join us for these beautiful Majors games on a perfect Friday evening.
That one fouled back by LaRue. Really is a perfect evening. We didn't get much sun, Ty. That's probably the only complaint from the night today, but
definitely
it's been a nice temperature. It has not been too hot. It's not been too cold, though there is a bit of a breeze for sure, and a great night for baseball. Hopefully another great night on Monday when the Barrie Baycats are in town.
For the Canada Day special, and as this one has calmed down, obviously no sun, but as the light has gone away from us, it really made way for a beautiful evening of baseball. Lights are shining bright, calm weather, a slight breeze, and it's just comfy out there for the Majors.
1-2 as Gore looks to record the first out of this 9th inning. Breaking ball there. That one misses, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, although that one missed too far inside, it had a good amount of movement on it, Dylan. It looked like it was dangerously close to the batter, but kept creeping inside almost into the strike zone, so I like that bit of movement on the pitch from Daniel Gore.
2-2, nobody out. Standing over at first base is Ryosuke Ohashi. Here's the pitch. In the air, left field. Moving over is Gibson Krasminski, and he's under it, makes the catch. There's one gone now in the top of the 9th.
A nice pitch from Daniel Gore. That one a bit more of a fastball, high and inside. Similar position to the previous pitch, and it did draw a swing this time. Made it right out to the glove of Gibson Krasminski, as we mentioned, filling in left field. Started the game off at second. And a pretty routine play in the end. Majors 2 to go with 1 down.
So Connor Morrow into the batter's box. Morrow 0 for 3. 2 ground outs and a line out today. That one misses high for ball 1. Here's the 1-0. On the ground towards third. Plaz waits back on it. Goes to second for 1. Mosher's throw to first. There will be no throw. He wisely holds on to it. So 2 gone now after the fielder's choice.
Yeah, Morrow, that one was a bouncing ball from him. Just slowly ended up reaching the glove of Victor Plaz, who decided to go to second with it. The opportunity to turn 2 wasn't quite there. Not the velocity, exit velocity on the ball that the Majors needed. But nonetheless, it's another one down, and they are 1 away from an 8-0 victory.
So Jeff McLeod will be pinch hit for, or maybe somewhere else in the order, as that one's hit on the ground towards second. Reyes Cruz will go to Mosher, and that will do it here for the top of the 9th inning and for the ball game as the Majors emerge victorious on this Friday night with an 8-0 win over the Guelph Royals.
Oh, what a fantastic game from the London Majors, and it was really all over, Dylan. It was a complete game. It was offense and defense, fantastic hitting as well as pitching. Payano with an impressive starting performance on the mound, and what a day for Caden Cardoso. 17-game hit streak now. Had an RBI single as well as a home run, finished 3 for 4 on the day. I mean, just everything to be happy about here if you're a Majors fan.
Caden Cardoso certainly had it going at the plate. So too did the Majors offense with 9 hits in the ball game. this evening. The Guelph Royals with just 3 hits, 2 of them mustered off of Victor Payano. And he was really, really terrific today. Only threw just over 80 pitches in the contest this evening. He's had a terrific last couple of games and has been a really, really stellar arm for the London Majors in the ball games recently, I should say, in the emergence of a potential big front end of the rotation piece for London this season. And we've talked about the importance of that as he is our player of the game here tonight, and we'll send it down to Justin Koehler, who is with Victor Payano, our Another's player of the game.
So I'm here with the player of the game, Victor Payano. Victor, it was a great match. What pitches worked for you today?
I worked my fastball and everything right to the plate.
Well, spectacular. It was a great performance, great job, great win, great shutout as well for the team. And so, congratulations on getting player of the game. And let's send it back up to Ty and Dylan in the Game Day London press box to wrap things up.
Victor Payano very proud of his player of the game chain, courtesy of Nothers Awards. What a ball game, Ty, for the London Majors. Really a complete performance. Fantastic on all fronts.
Really, you just said it all right there. It was a perfect performance from the Majors across the board. Fantastic job hitting on the plate. A really, really good performance carrying on. That's now a 3-game win streak for the London Majors after 2 against Chatham Kent. They've really picked things up and showing that why they can be considered one of the top teams in all the Intercounty Baseball League.
Let's talk about Victor Payano's performance tonight, Justin. He struck out 9 in his last start against the Chatham Kent Barnstormers here on Sunday. Another fantastic performance today. 7 scoreless innings, and you and I have both mentioned briefly the importance of having a third arm that's going for the Majors.
100%. So 9 strikeouts in his last inning, or in his last outing, I should say. 7 strikeouts tonight. I mean, what a performance from Victor Payano. We talked about how Reese and Keys are 2 really, really solid starters for the Majors, and if they want to be a legitimate contender moving on to the later season, they have to have that third ace, and Victor Payano is proving to be just that. Didn't see much time until opening day. Opening day, he had a large segment in between that where he didn't see too much time starting pitching. Then he comes out in a big performance against the Toronto Maple Leafs, a 10-0 win for the Majors in a start over Chatham Kent, and now tonight's performance as well. Brent Wales and Roop Chanderdat must be over the moon because he's doing absolutely fantastic.
A big ball game for the Majors, a big victory over the Guelph Royals today, who they lost to by a score of 1-0 last Saturday. Majors had the day off tomorrow before they head to Christie Pitts and Dominico Field to take on the Maple Leafs on Sunday before being back here. 6:05 first pitch on Canada Day. Fireworks post-game with the Barrie Baycats in town. That'll do it for our coverage of today's ball game on Majors TV. For Director Cal Johnstone, producer Keegan MacArthur, Justin Koehler at field level, Ty White up here in the booth. My name is Dylan Baker. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you on Monday when the fireworks are in town for the Barrie Baycats.